And welcome to the ISF World School Championship Online Chess 2020. And this is the first ever ISF sporting event this year. And of course, we are going online. And what better a game than chess? Hello, everyone. I'm Chaitanya Sant. And along with me, it's an honor for me to introduce my co-commentator and expert, the women grandmaster, Soumya Swaminathan. Soumya, hello.
Hello, everyone.
And what a
Hi,
wonderful
Chaitanya.
weekend we have lined up, isn't it? What a wonderful weekend we have.
Yes, I'm so excited to be following this tournament. It's the first ever World School Championship, and I'm really excited that we'll get to follow the games and comment on them. Let's see. I think the games have already started.
Yes,
So
they
we
have.
have
Without
here,
further adu, quickly have the first match that has started.
Yes.
Tara and
Yeah,
Anna, remember, this is Blitz, so 3 minutes. Over to you, Soumya.
Yeah, Chaitanya. So this is the top board for the girls under 17 category, and white is Anahita from Iran, and black is Tara Ivanovic. So yeah, let's see. I think it's right now black is on top, but this Queen D4 is a really good move because it attacked the F6 pawn. And it's, I mean, white is obviously the higher rated player, so she has more chances to win this game. But you know, in blitz, anything can happen.
Yes, that's right. And I'll just give in the layman's language, the higher rated is the number that you can see right next to the name in the brackets for all our viewers. The higher the number, the better the rating of a player. Okay, so the higher the number, it's just like top seeded. So similarly, if you can see to the bottom of the board, it's Anahita, the rating of 2213. Tara is 1283. So Anahita is the higher rated.
Oh wow! So black missed white's idea here. She should have played Queen C5 on the previous move and tried to exchange the queens, but he went Bishop E6 and allowed the pawn to H6. The pawn which is on the 6th rank, and now white is threatening mate in 1 with Queen G7. So black played King F8, preventing it. But it's already, I think, white is in a very commanding position now suddenly because oh, now the rook on D8 is hanging and it's mate in 1. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was quick, wasn't it? That was quick.
That was very quick.
And, yes.
That was very quick, and kudos to white, to Anahita, for playing this H5, H6 idea. It was really nice. Black unfortunately did not spot white's idea and simply allowed it, you know.
Yes, that's what happens. So just a quick information to all our viewers here. Remember, this is Blitz format. So this is a matchup of 3 minutes. Remember, the entire chess game has to finish in only 3 minutes. And of course, there's 2-minute increment per move. And it's the Swiss system format, which is being followed because of a lot of participants. It will be difficult for everyone to play against each other. And thus, the Swiss system is being followed. And Blitz for 3 minutes. How exciting and how difficult is it to play this format of chess, Soumya? 3 minutes and the entire game, you have to finish the entire analysis, strategizing, everything in just 3 minutes. How difficult is this format?
If you're used to it, then it's a lot of fun. But if you're playing it for the first time, then it's obviously very difficult because you're used to playing a game over 4 or 5 hours, and suddenly now you only get 3 minutes and 2 seconds per move. So, oh, we have already the second board game on the screen now. And the second seed is also from Iran, and her opponent is also from Iran. So this is going to be interesting. They're probably friends and probably from the same school. That would be nice.
Absolutely. They can't see each other, but they are on the online platform, which is Premium Chess, sitting at home. And the wonderful thing about chess is you can sit at home online and you can go ahead, participate in an online world competition. Kudos to ISF World School Championship. And also remember, you're getting live broadcast on One Play Sports, who are the exclusive broadcasting partners of the first ever ISF World School Championships online chess 2020.
Nice. And oh wow, One Play, yeah, kudos to Play Sport. And the games are being played on Premium Chess, on the platform Premium Chess, yes. And their ratings are basically the ratings of the platform premium chess and not the FIDE ratings. So for everyone who's familiar with the FIDE rating concept, this rating is exclusively from the platform. Here again, black is on top because the pawn on c3 is really strong, and the white king is stuck on c1, and black can actually wave a meeting net around the king even if white allows it. And it is defending well, by the way. She has defended against the threat of rook b2. White, because black could have gone rook b2 on the previous move, but oh, now again she can play rook to b2, and that would be rook to b2 and rook into c3 was the idea. Oh wow, that was really pretty, but there's no time to analyze because the games are moving fast. And now rook b2.
Good to see your expressions coming out just like a chess player, as if you're involved in this, with those oohs and ahs. Because remember, with Ghazal, she has only 15 seconds remaining, whereas Motare has a minute and 12 seconds in hand. So time is running out for Ghazal with in white. So 15 seconds somewhere in the back of the mind of Ghazal that he'll have to make those moves very quickly.
But now there is mate in 2 on the board with rook into g2, rook g2. She missed it. She could have taken rook g2, but okay, even this is better for black. But rook into g2, rook g2, and rook e1 was almost over because king c2, rook a1, and it would have been very difficult. But this is also winning. So sometimes there are many ways to win a game, and she found another way.
Absolutely. Now, the left bottom of the screen is important. Just 5 seconds remaining, and quickly she made her move and got the 2 seconds.
That's a very smart decision. She basically exchanged the rooks, and now the g pawn is rolling, and black will simply win this game because he's a pawn up, 2 pawns up in a king pawn endgame, and the g pawn will queen, and it will be checkmate. Mm-hmm. Very well played by black. She handled it really well. Yeah.
Black has on it. The importance of pawns also very important. We talk of the rook, knight, bishops, but the pawns also play a very crucial role, and this is what exactly that we saw with the black here, who has won and also was the better in the ratings. Also for all the viewers joining us on the YouTube and Facebook platform of One Play Sports, we have Soumya Swaminathan, Women Grandmaster, along with us. So if you have any questions relating to chess, any youngsters wishing to enter the game, wishing to get some experience and tips from the Women Grandmaster, do send us your comments on Facebook and on YouTube. We'll make sure that our Women Grandmaster over here, Soumya, answers all your doubts and questions regarding the beautiful game.
On mute. Yeah. So let's. I think. I think all the games are over. Can you see all the games are over because the result is already there. So all the games of the first round are all over, and as we can see, most of the seeded players, higher rated players, as in, have won their games on the top boards. And the first upset you can say is on the board Khatchatarian versus Lomia Dana. It ended in a draw, which is a good result for black, perhaps because she was rated 600 points lower than white. And yeah, so yeah, we are now waiting for the second round to start, which will start shortly, like in 3-4 minutes time. I think that I don't think there is much gap between. So it is a demanding tournament, I guess, for the players.
Oh, absolutely. And I just mentioned, if you have any questions, please let them come. And we already have a question. And Soumya, the question for you is, what is the mindset of a player when they play such a short round? It's 3 minutes. So what goes in the mind of a player then?
No, actually, that's a great question because, the difference between chess and other sports is that other sports are based a lot on reflexes, whereas in chess, we get a lot of time to analyze and then respond. So it is a lot about decision making because a lot of time to make that decision, But the only exception to this is blitz, because in blitz chess, which is the shorter time control, 3 minutes plus 2 seconds, there is almost no time to think, and you're basically playing on reflexes. So the players are not thinking too much. I think it's more about practice and pattern recognition. And there is very, very less time to take decisions in blitz.
Oh, yes, absolutely. 3 minutes. I mean, we are used to watching chess matches that goes for hours and hours. Soumya, which is the longest match that you have played? The longest duration that you have played throughout your career?
Oh my God. I think I played when I was a kid, the time control was even longer than it is now, the classical time control. So I have played games which lasted 7 hours or so. So, and even recently I played in FIDE Grand Swiss, which had a longer time control. So some tournaments have, even in classical tournaments, it depends on the tournament itself. So some tournaments have a longer time control, like 4 hours for the first 40 moves, then 2 hours are added and so on. So I actually played for 6.5 hours or so, one of the games.
Oh, that's quite some time. Imagine the amount of concentration that is required. We tell a child to study for an hour and the child gets bored, but 7 hours of concentration, analyzing, strategizing the game that's the reason. It's just a different ball game altogether, is the game of chess. In the meanwhile, on Facebook, Anubhav is as always as active that he is given us a comment that chess is the mother of all mind games, and one important player in the Indian cricket team, Yuzvendra Chahal, also played mind games, so also was a chess player, and he's a leg spinner. So mind games and analyzing, strategizing, thinking of what the opponent is going to do in the future is something that helps everywhere across lives, whichever career that you are in or any other sport that you are playing. Now, meanwhile, Anubhav has another question for you, Soumya. And the question is, physical sports requires building your body muscles. Apart from playing chess, what exercises can you do to build the muscles of the mind? Oh nice God. Question there.
That's a very deep question. If I had figured it out, I would have become world champion, but okay. I think generally a lot of Indian chess players at least meditate, even I do, to keep calm and to improve your focus, concentration, patience. So that is a common mental exercise, you can say, and also breathing exercises are quite common amongst chess players, just to calm down and keep your nerves under control. So these are the two main exercises. And chess, apart from that, to be very honest, chess itself is an exercise, mental exercise. So you don't need to do some other mental exercise to improve your like mental skills in that sense. But obviously, there are other skills which you need to work on, like physical fitness and physical fitness mainly. So that obviously all chess players do take care of it, but not to the extent that a player in a physical sport, let's say a runner or an athlete, needs to do. But for sure, physical fitness does play a role, because imagine you're sitting on the board for 6 hours. Obviously, you're going to get tired. Yeah, so it does play a role.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Soumya. So let the questions keep coming. We have a woman grandmaster here. In the meanwhile, just diverting for a minute from chess, there's an update that is coming in from the Indian T20 League, and that is the team of Kolkata, franchise of Kolkata, has beaten franchise of Punjab in the recent game that after quite a match that went down to the last ball. But the result that comes in from the world of cricket in the Indian T20 League is that Kolkata has beaten Punjab. Coming back to the ISF World Schools Championship Online Chess 2020, the first event that is being hosted by ISF this year, and that is chess. Yes. So requesting all questions to keep coming. Yes. Go ahead, Sean.
Also, it is like we would like to tell the viewers that this is the qualification section today for the under 17 girls, and 40 players from today will qualify. The first 40 players will qualify for the finals, which will be held on 24th of October. And they will play a 9-round event that day. And the winner will get a laptop. And also they will receive the right to participate in the 2021 World School Championship, which is tentatively announced in China. So that's amazing, right? Like, first of all, I mean, the prize itself, laptop, obviously it's really cool. And to get a chance to play in a physical over the board tournament, I think that would be really exciting, to travel to another country and represent school. I think it would be a matter of great pride for all the kids.
It's absolutely. Participating for school kids and getting a prize in the end always is important. Later on, you realize it's the rankings that play a vital role. But as school kids, you always want someone as a prize for the good efforts that you've put in. So before we take some more questions, in the beginning, I did not have enough time, but now that I have time, it's my duty to introduce formally our women Grandmaster Soumya with some of the achievements she has had. It's my pleasure to announce that she also has won the World Junior Girls Championship 2009 in Arena. So she was the World Junior Girls Champion in 2009. She for 3 years, 2005, 2006, and 2008, was the India Junior Girls Champion. She won the Indian Women's Championship in 2010. The Commonwealth Women's Champion in 2012, participated in 2 chess Olympiads, the Women International Master in 2007, and in 2013-14 was conferred by the government of Maharashtra Shiva Chhatrapati Award. Wow, that's incredible, Soumya. That's incredible. I mean, we're just fortunate to have you here for the chess tournament, and thus we have a lot of questions coming in from youngsters, from players, enthusiasts of chess across all age groups. So there's one more coming in. We are going to keep you very busy tonight, Soumya. And the question that is coming from Akansha Zoshi, and the question is there a difference playing virtually and in person? That means, is there a different approach?
Yeah, for sure. It is a big difference. And when you play in person, you can actually feel the person and you can actually sense what is going through his mind. Like, you get an idea because, there is an exchange of energy that takes place over the board. That's why they say chess is also a lot about psychology, because you are actually trying to read the mind of your opponent and try to understand how he's thinking. And all these things are easier to do. I mean, not easy, but easier to do when the person is sitting right in front of you rather than 5,000 miles away in another country and all you can see is the chessboard on the screen. And also to touch the pieces, to play, like the feeling of touching the pieces and playing them rather than using your mouse and using the cursor to move the pieces. That is also a very different experience. So, and there are challenges with online chess, by the way, which I would like to mention, like a mouse slip can cost you the game, a disconnection can cost you the game, which are things which are very specific to online chess. So surely there is a difference, but I also feel that we are really lucky as chess players to have this option to play online. Our game continues to take place thanks to this. And also as a practice, as a method to practice. Imagine a lot of players, by the way, have coaches and practice partners from different cities, different countries. You don't need them in the same place because internet has made everything so convenient. And that's a very elaborate answer, but okay. I hope
no problem. Please keep coming. Please keep coming. We have a lot of chess enthusiasts online, so please keep coming with your answers.
By the way, about Yuzi Chahal, since you mentioned him, he was under 12 national champion. Did you know that? In chess. You were aware of that?
Yes, that's something that you always keep saying.
I mean, everyone knows that he played chess, but he actually represented India in the World Championship, in the under 12 World Championship. So he was a good chess player.
Wonderful, wonderful. So reading the opponent's mind is something that a leg spinner also needs, and so chess has helped Yuvraj Chahal in becoming one of India's prominent lead leg spinners. And you see, what happens with chess, Soumya, is when we get a phone, chess is one of those apps which is already pre-installed in the phone. So it's one game that you always start playing with some other games. It's one game that always exists on almost all Android phones, is the chess that you can play against the computer on three different levels. Not sure if you have ever done that, but there is the easy, medium, and the hard. And I've always chosen the easy, thus I consider myself champion in defeating my phone on the easy mode. But that's how generally you start playing chess. For those who are not professional, they always have the phone and they start playing on their easy mode on their respective Android phones.
Oh, that's amazing. I wasn't aware of that. Yeah, that's amazing. That's a great way to improve as well. To well, the more you practice, the more you'll improve. Maybe you can try the medium level next, Chaitanya, now that you're beating the computer on easy.
Yes. After this weekend and after having discussions with you about chess, I can now think of going to the hard level as well. I might just become an expert by the end of the weekend.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
yes, coming
next
back. Time.
Yes, okay. Yes, of course,
yes,
I'll do that. Yes, coming back, we have the next match which is started. The next contest is Matya and Nia. And Nia is, of course, the highest seeded with 2049 as her rating. So, do you, Soumya?
Right. So here as well, white is better because she's an exchanger. Basically, as you can see, she has an extra rook. White has an extra rook, whereas black has a knight for the rook. If you just have a look at the pieces, and also white has many pawns, and now she has taken the knight as well. So she's a full rook up, and I think white will comfortably cruise through because she has a lot of time, and I think white is completely on top in this game. Would be
yes, and also the clock is running by 2 minutes.
White shouldn't blunder with rook g3. By the way, taking the pawn on g3 would be a huge blunder because queen h1, which is a long move with queen, is a checkmate. So that's why the rook on f3 covers the checkmate on g2 as well as h1. And that's the only blunder in the position, as long as, I'm sure Nia spotted it. That's the reason she played rook f3 in the first place. So as long as she doesn't blunder that, she's going to be very comfortable.
Yes, that's the opinion coming from Soumya. Let's see how this contest goes between Matija and Nia.
I'm wondering why did not black did not take on e2 here. Actually, even on the previous move and even on this move, she can take on e2 because she doesn't want to allow rook g3. Right. But anyway, yeah, if black takes on e2 here, guys, like the rook on f3 is hanging after rook into e2, but white can take rook g3 and there is no checkmate on. Okay, rook e3 is even more convenient. Yeah, both the moves were working, so white went for rook e3. And I think she'll play, okay, she just took the pawn and she's going to... this is good. This is really very comfortable for white here. So, Chaitanya, if you have this position on the board as white, would you be confident of winning it? What would you say?
As of now, listening to what you're saying, I think I would be comfortable. I think I'll be comfortable going ahead and again, the ratings are also comfortable when it comes to the white.
Right. Yes, black resigned because...
and
right. Yeah, white is a player from Georgia. By the way, Georgian women's team is really strong. I think almost in every Olympiad they have won a team medal for their the women's team. They have a very strong chess culture in Georgia, and the first two world champions, the longest running world champions, women's world champions, were from Georgia. So yeah, they have a huge tradition of chess.
That's right. And if my little research also goes well, the first woman grandmaster, Nona, also from Georgia. So
yeah,
they
Nona
always have
Gaprindashvili was champion for 17 years. And then Mayachi Burdanidze beat her. She's also from Georgia, and she also was world champion for 17 years. So yeah, they both are legends. And actually, in the chess Olympiad, there is a prize given in the name of Nona Gaprindashvili called the Gaprindashvili Cup, which is won by the highest performing men and women team combined. So that country receives the Gaprindashvili prize every year.
Wonderful,
yeah, she's
wonderful,
a real
wonderful.
legend.
Absolutely.
So yeah, here also white is coming through. As we can see, white is like, okay, right now white is 5 pawns up. So white is completely cruising through. Yang Yixin from China will surely convert this game.
The black only surviving on the rook right now. How long is the question?
Yeah, black is of course trying to fight and create some traps, maybe set some traps for the opponent, but I think white's position is so overwhelming that it's hard to mess up.
So what do you do in such a situation? Soumya, you just have your king and
white
your
or black?
rook remaining as black.
No, I would usually resign. That's no, that it's like having a 6-0 lead in football.
Yes, wonderful.
It's a very big lead, there is not much hope. But obviously, there is in online chess, there is always hope because you can win on disconnection.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So there comes a small hope there for black. That is, if the connection for white goes away, then by default you are declared as the winner. But it looks like there's some decent internet connection with white as well. The black is not giving up. He's making sure that his king is moving one square to here to there.
Yeah, good win by white.
Yes, that was quite
a lot
convincing.
of Iranian girls are playing in this tournament. I see we already saw like 4 games of theirs so far, I think. And oh no, Behzad was the same girl whose game we saw in the first round as well. So yeah. All the games are again over. So let's see if there are any upset results. So Yang Yixin, the game we saw just now was a huge upset because as we can see, there is a rating difference of 700 points between both the girls. So I think it was definitely an upset victory. Otherwise, it seems like the games have gone more or less as expected. On the, I think, 10th board, Else Tomasi versus Yuze Zhu. That was also an upset victory by white because there is again a huge difference in their rating. Yeah. Also, it's not necessary sometimes, that your online rating really reflects your actual strength, because some players simply are they simply have more practice playing online. So they have a higher rating or lower rating according to their frequency of playing online. So it is very much possible that the girls who are rated lower here might have a good over the board rating. So
yes, so the second round is over, so we'll be waiting for the third round to start. In the meanwhile, Soumya, there's a question coming in online is, what is an ideal age for a youngster to start playing chess? Is there an ideal age, first of all? And if there is...
yeah, I don't think there is an ideal anything, but in general, for chess, it's always better to start early. Sorry, there's some echo. Yeah, sorry, Chaitanya. Back to your question.
Go ahead.
It is always better to start early because okay, let's say I think nowadays kids are starting by 5 or so, like just basic like learning chess at 4 or 5, and then already at 7 they're playing tournaments, and already by 10 they are quite competitive, and they have actually played quite a few tournaments, and they have read a few books. They are training under a good coach, so on and so forth. So definitely starting out early is helpful because you simply get more exposure and you get more experience. And when you're younger, you basically have lesser responsibilities. That's the main thing. So you have more time and lesser things to worry about. And your parents can also give you more time. They are also younger, and so on and so forth. So in life, that's the reason sports persons start very early. That's how it works.
Thanks for that, Soumya. Yes, let's keep coming
I would
in
say,
because
like,
after every round we have a few minutes for the question and answer round. Go ahead, Soumya. Go ahead.
no, I would say, like, in general, chess is really beneficial for kids, by the way. So even plan to take it up as a profession, to just learn the game would be really is a really great tool to improve your rational thinking, your analytical abilities. So I think that's the reason nowadays we have chess in schools as well. A lot of countries actually it as a compulsory subject in school. And even in Maharashtra, we had this course. We have this course of chess in schools, and some other states, I think in Tamil Nadu as well. So it's basically, even if you don't plan to pursue it as a profession, you don't plan to compete, even otherwise, it's like learning. It will really help you in your education or any other profession that you choose yourself. That's my unbiased opinion and experience. Yeah.
Wonderful, and thanks to your brilliant comments and your expertise. We have a comment coming on YouTube from Shreya Shenoy. She says, "Great interaction. You're making the broadcast very interesting with your confidence." So, kudos to you, Soumya.
Oh.
Keep coming in with your expert opinion. It's always good to have an expert, and that's the reason for this broadcast on One Play Sports. We have the women grandmaster Soumya Swaminathan along with us. So, any more questions? Please keep them coming. We'll have all the experience. We'll take all the possible knowledge from Soumya. It's also important for me to defeat the hard level on my mobile phone by the end of this weekend. So that's my intention of asking a lot of questions.
Yeah. That would be awesome.
Yeah, so just a quick information to all our viewers. This is the under 17 category of girls today. Tomorrow we'll have the under 17 boys category. So this online chess competition is of two categories: under 17 born in 2003, 2004, 2005. As you've seen, 17 years under 17, and the other category is under 14 for those born in 2006 and 7. Is 13 and 14 years. That's the under 14 categories. Two categories for the online chess competition. Yes, Soumya?
No. I was listening to what you were saying, Chaitanya. Yeah, that's great. So tomorrow, I think it's also good that the tournaments are being held on the weekend, because I think the players must be also attending school, so they need not miss school. So it's a good schedule for them as well.
Yes, that's right. It's attending school again online, so it's everything's happening online, and that's the great part about this game. You can sit home and still play chess. Other sports are a little hampered there. You cannot really play them online, but with chess,
that's true.
It's as good as playing with the real competitor. It's just different things, but something, as you mentioned, holding the mouse and making sure that you don't have an error in the move, which even cost you a lot. The control on the fingers right now with your mouse is very important when you're playing chess online.
Yes, that's true. By the way, Chaitanya, which is your favorite sport? Since you comment on a lot of sports and you like to follow a lot of sports, so which sports do you usually follow and like playing or following?
See, chess has always been interesting, and as I've said, my father taught me how to play chess with all these interesting. So, in layman's language, there's the horse, there is camel, there is the elephant. Is what we started with, and then of course there comes a rook, bishop, and those words. So chess is always interesting, but again, right now, if we talk of sports, there's football, and of course there is the Indian League happening as well, the Indian Cricket League, the Indian Premier League. So IPL cricket is always interesting. But as far as broadcasting is concerned, there's athletics, chess, which are again offbeat. So if you talk of football, cricket is always there, played by a wide audience. But chess, carom, or athletics are certain sports which is a little offbeat, but extremely important. So if you talk of kids playing and coming over to a chess board is very important. So as a broadcaster, it's always interesting to see a chess tournament, a chess match that happens for and is long, because when I see small kids sitting in one place, how difficult is it to make a 10 or 12-year-old sit in one place for 2 to 3 hours? It's impossible. Very difficult to make a 10 to 12-year-old boy or a girl sit in one place. But during chess, that intention is achieved. He's there, she, 10, 12 years old, is there concentrating on the chess board. What a fascinating game this is.
Yes, it's true. I mean, I also, whenever I'm introducing this sport, let's say to my niece or nephew, I have a lot of nieces and nephews who are really young, basically 5 or 6 years old. And whenever I introduce it to them, I'm always a little skeptical कि पसंद आएगा कि नहीं, बैठेगा क्या नहीं. But then 2 hours, 3 hours खत्म हो जाता है, and they actually they are really interested. And then the next day my nephew again comes with the chessboard and tells me, I want to play a game of chess with you. So it's very interesting to see kids' reactions, like I mean, yeah, even here I see that 59 girls are participating in the under 17 category, which is a lot. And in the boys tournament, there are 74 players. So that's really amazing.
Yes, a lot of participation in for the ISF World School Championship online chess. In the meanwhile, we are now over to round 3. And there comes the first match for round 3. It's Van versus Anahita. Over to you, Soumya.
Yeah, I'm glad that we can follow this game from the first move. So it will be very interesting. Yeah. So right now it's a Qgd Defense adopted by Black. White opened with the D pawn, the queen's pawn opening, as we call it. Basically, the pawn in front of the queen is the queen's pawn, and the pawn in front of the king is the king's pawn. So that's why they are named so. And it's a normal opening position. Let's see how both the players handle it. Basically, a chess game is a discussion, between two players. Like each of the players is saying, I am better, my position is better than yours, and they are discussing it. And they are showing their own ideas and their own reasons, basically, without verbally communicating with each other, showing it over the board as to why their position is superior and why their understanding of the position is correct. So it's basically just a discussion that happens over the board. Oh, now there is an interesting idea. I don't know if it could work. Bishop into h2. It could work, but Black did not go for it. Bishop into h2, king h2, knight g4 check. And White would have been forced to go king h3. And then black could have probably played g5 even. I think it was a good idea, but black decided not to go for it.
Only if the players could hear you, Soumya, right now. Only if they could hear, it would have been a big benefit for them. But I'm sure they'll listen to the recordings and your comments after the match is done.
Yeah. So I think black has developed her pieces very harmoniously, but the problem is that the knight on f6 is protected by the knight on d7. It's also protected by the pawn on g7, but let's say you move your knight on d7 somewhere, then white takes the pawn on knight on f6 with his bishop and spoils black's structure. Okay, now of course they have their own plans. Nobody is listening to. So she decided to exchange the dark squared bishop. Right. And well, it's
so Soumya, in a 3-minute game, the blitz, what would be the ideal strategy? To go on an all-out attack or just be a little defensive because it's just 3 minutes?
No, it depends on the position you get actually. Like it is always great if you can get an attack, but it's not necessarily possible in every game to get an attack. You know, like for example, in this game, it is not easy to create an attack as white. Black's position is really solid, so you can't just attack for the sake of it because you're also creating weaknesses in your own position. So yeah, I think now black will put the knight on e4 and try to exchange pieces. It looks like equal. At the moment, the position looks equal. Oh, she took with the pawn. I thought she will take with the knight. Taking with the pawn is also works perfectly fine. And now she probably, she's attacking the pawn on b4. So white played b5.
It's an all-out pawn attack there.
Well. Yeah. They are playing well, and yeah, maybe. Okay, now she took the pawn on c6 as well. It would be interesting. Maybe I think I will take with the pawn. She took with the rook. Okay, I was thinking to take with the pawn instead, but okay. So now queen b5 attacking the pawn on b7. She defends it with queen c7, and she's also attacking the rook on c1 at the same time.
Oh, so the queen's in close proximity, and
yeah. And now white needs to reroute his knight on g3. Yeah, that's a good move, knight e2, because the knight on g3 was doing nothing, and she needs to reroute it either to b4 or to c5 or to e5, where it will actually create some threats. It's not possible to reroute it to e5 at the moment, so she's going to c5 or b4. She'll either go knight a2, knight b4, but then again, black plays knight d5 and stops knight b4. So she'll probably go to a4 and c5. That's what I'm expecting. Right. Black could, that's a good move. She prevented knight c5 by going knight d7. So white, oh wow. So now, oh wow, rook b7 is a really good move. Rook d6 is also a good move. King e7 would have been very awkward because then the knight on d7 would have been pinned. Both the girls are playing really well, by the way.
An interesting competition, and not a lot of difference between their ranks as well, 1961 and 2213. So not a lot to differentiate between their standings.
white is constantly creating threats against black's king and black's position, and black is spotting them. So both the girls are playing really well, I must say. No, black's main problem is her position is a bit passive, and she is the only one having a weakness in her position, which is the pawn on c6. White doesn't have any weaknesses in her position, so black doesn't have anything to attack, whereas white has a target on c6, and that's the reason she's able to create threats. Okay, so this is again a now probably rook d5, but she blundered the pawn on c6. In time pressure, she blundered the pawn on c6, and now you can simply take on d6 and try to win this endgame, the knight endgame. She did not take on d6. She wants to keep the rooks. Oh, wow. So now knight c5? Because black is low on time, yeah? So she's playing really fast, yes, and she's probably missing white's threats. That's the reason.
Yes, the time pressure clearly tearing on black with 37 seconds, 36 now, and with white comfortably placed.
Yeah, but she blundered the pawn on h4. She should have played g3 instead, and it was completely fine, but she blundered the pawn on h4, and now again black is all right, because now knight e5 check. Why not knight e5 check and then d5, and the pawn was hanging? Okay. Yeah, in time pressure, it's very hard to really say what's going to happen, because both the players are under some pressure, and let's see. Yeah, even now knight e5 works if white allows it. Let's see what white is going to do. But knight e6 is a good move here. Knight b7. Oh, okay. At b7 also is a good move. But now maybe rook h6. No, knight e5 check and rook into b7. So rook d7 was forced, and yeah, this could be a draw with knight b7. I think, or maybe king d4 is also possible. And now knight e5 would be a blunder because of knight b7 check, king c7, king into e5, and white will win that king pawn endgame. So
yes, white has enough time there. A minute remaining. Quick move.
yeah, but now white blundered the pawn on d5. Why? She could have repeated with knight e8 and taken a draw, but she gave up the pawn on d5. Although this position is now, even though black is a pawn up, it's not at all easy to win it, because white's position is quite solid. And basically, what do you attack here as black? There are two plans as black. You try to create a passed pawn, or you attack the weakness in white's position, which is the pawn on f2. And so you basically bring your knight to h3 or d3, which is possible. Which is possible. She has played f4. Okay, f4 is a good move. So now the pawn on g3 is a passed pawn, and she will go knight h4, knight f5. Yeah, she has gone for that. And now white has to come back with king d2, and black can push g3. Oh, black has managed to create something, yeah? And now the pawn on g3 is a passed pawn, and there is a weakness on e3 as well, which white needs to defend. So let's say, but Here already, she could have played king f2, but okay. Maybe here king f2 is a good move. Oh, but now knight f3. Again king f2. Again king f2. Yeah, but this is lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she shouldn't have allowed g1. I think she missed g1. G1 queen, and she missed that the king pawn ending is lost.
Do we see a result coming here somewhere?
Yeah, for sure. Black will win this game. Yeah. Well played. Well played. And also, we have to remember that Black was the one in time pressure. And she managed to outplay her opponent in time pressure. That's really good. Because it was actually an equal game, and initially it was White who was putting a lot of pressure on Black. And she managed to defend most of the threats and create something on her own. That's great.
Interesting contest that was, and that's the end of the third round. We'll be beginning with the third round shortly, and this is time for some questions. So Soumya, there's a question coming in on Facebook from Nandini Garg, and the question is, what kind of coaching is involved in chess for kids of this age? Did you, Soumya, did you have a coach? And what are your memories of winning in 2009?
Oh, there are many questions in one. So I go step by step. Of this age, as in under 14 and under 17, that's what she means, right? Kids of this age.
Yes.
No, already I think at this age, kids are playing at a very high level nowadays. I mean, there are grandmasters, and we also have a few kids who are already grandmasters at this age. And in general, also, especially by the time you're 17, you've been playing chess for at least 3-4 years, I would say, minimum. And in my case, I started playing chess at the age of 7.5. So by the time I was 17, I was playing chess for 10 years or so. So yeah, you are training with a good coach usually, and you're going through. We have a software basically, and we have a database of games which has, I don't know how many games, maybe 30 lakh games. I never counted. But basically it has all the games from the beginning of time which have been recorded in chess. And all the games, we have a notation, as you can see on the board, on the screen as well, right? Like all the games have a notation. So they can be recorded. And earlier, when there was no internet, they used to be printed in some chess magazines, and people used to get a copy of them and study them, and they used to be printed in books. And now, because of internet, you can simply download the file and save it in your computer and go through it. So that's how we work on chess. We basically go through all the games that have been played so far and try to there are two things. We try to learn from them, and we try to create something on our own, take inspiration from them. So there are two aspects to it. Her other question was, what did I have a coach? Yes, I did have a coach. At 17, I was working with Grandmaster Abhijit Kunte. I worked with him for about 10 years or so, actually, from the age of, let's say, 15 or 16. And only after working with him, until then I did not have a grandmaster coach. So only after working with him, I realized what it means to be a professional chess player. Until then, I was just doing whatever, like whatever came to my mind. Only after working with him, I got some direction as to how to approach chess and what kind of things to choose and such things. Sorry, is there a lot of background noise, or is it okay on my end?
No, that's yes. There was the end of the question from Nandini Garg is Soumya, your memories of Junior Girls Championship 2009 in Argentina. Your memories of that.
I have very nice memories, of course. It's always great to become world champion because not many people do it. So you always feel very special about it. And it was a very long time ago, but for example, the last round and the closing ceremony and my coach and my teammates, everyone, I remember most of it as vividly as it happened, as if it happened yesterday. So yeah, very special. It was a very special victory for sure.
Yes, for all our viewers, let the questions keep coming on our Facebook page and YouTube page. It's the first tournament or a competition by ISF World Schools Championship on this year, and the online platform chosen for the chess is Premium Chess, and it's the Blitz time control. That's for 3 minutes. Of course, there's an increment of 2 seconds per move, and the format followed because of plenty of entries coming in. The format followed the Swiss system. And of course, for this weekend, we have our women grandmaster also along with us, Soumya Swaminathan, giving us her expertise on the 3-minute contests that we'll be witnessing. 3 rounds are over, waiting for the 4th round to begin.
Out soon, yes. Awesome. I think, yeah, it will be like now onwards, it will get tougher and tougher. No, like as the rounds progress, you're basically playing tougher opponents, because to remember that even though you played really well, your opponents also have played really well so far. That's the reason they are playing on the top board or second board. So in the initial rounds, you're playing someone who's much lower rated than you. Because of, I mean, depends on what's your seeding, but let's say you're the highest seed, you're the top seed of an event, then in the initial rounds, you're playing someone much lower rated than you. And as the tournament progresses, you keep playing players who are higher and higher rated. So it keeps getting, your opposition keeps getting tougher, basically. And it also shows the form. Like, let's say some player is actually much lower rated in terms of ranking, but on let's say after 6 rounds she's on 5 points, then it means she's in really good form in this tournament. So you are basically playing the player in their current form and not their past achievements, right? So that also matters. Okay, yes, so we'll probably see a King's Indian. No, we haven't. She didn't develop the knight on f6. So she probably wants to go knight e7 and f, or maybe f5 and knight f6. Okay, she went knight e7 and f. Castle. Right. So it's going to be a game of opposite side castles, and that always, like Chaitanya, you mentioned in the earlier game that is it good to go for an attack. So that's what black is and white, both of them, that is going to be their strategy in this game. They both are going to try and attack the opponent's king, because as we can see, they have castled on opposite sides. And yeah, it will be fun. This game is going to be fun to follow.
Yes, of course, they've got their rook into action with the castling moves. So the rook's in action. 2 minutes 30 seconds with the black.
Oh, but h5 is a weakening move actually, and now white decides to exchange the dark square bishops. Interesting. But now the pawn on f4. Okay, let's say white takes on f4. Then black will probably take with the rook. right? And now let's say I play bishop e2 or bishop e2 probably, and go for knight h3 on the next move. Oh, so she has decided to exchange the light square bishop as well. Okay, with bishop h3. I see. And now now black has an option of taking on h4, which she goes for. Yeah, I think it should be okay because already we have exchanged a lot of pieces. But the pawn on g6 is really weak. And now the next move, white is going to attack it with rook g1 when she gets a chance, because so far she hasn't got the chance to do it. Knight d3 is a check, and she will probably go after king c2. She will probably go knight f4, trying to exchange as many pieces as possible. But white is also fine. Let's say knight f4, knight f4, white can take on h5. Okay, so she has gone knight b4, not f4, because she wants to keep the pawn. But how do you save it? You play king h7, played knight f6. Okay. And if for rook g1, she will play queen e8 and defend the pawn on g6. So here white can, white played a3 and attacked the pawn on a knight on b4. Interesting. So now for king c2, black again goes knight c5 and not knight f4, because then after knight f4, ef4, white can play queen g5 and take the pawn on f4. Yeah, queen g5 looks like a good move because you have this idea of going knight g3 and knight f5 check. Black has prevented it with king h7. But now knight h5 doesn't work because knight into h5. So she anyway went knight f5 because gf5, queen f5, and the rook on c8 is hanging. I don't know. Probably the only move here is knight g8 to prevent queen h6. I don't see any other move for white. For black, sorry. Oh, she allows it. She went knight f4, so she allows queen h6. But this looks really dangerous. Let's say even some move like knight e2 here, or is there a better move? I mean, even knight e2 with the idea of if black takes knight into e2, rook g6, and black has to give up the queen because otherwise it's checkmate. So for knight e2, black, yeah, she goes for knight e2. So black can play queen h7 for knight e2. But then you can give knight e7 check. Knight e7 check, queen e7, and knight f4. And that is win for white. I don't know if she'll spot. She didn't spot it. Oh, she simply took on f4. That's also fine because, that's also winning. Sorry, that's easier actually because rook into g6 and you're attacking the f6 knight as well. So yeah, that is also winning. This is a very nice game by white, and I think black was okay, but she messed up. Allowing this whole knight g3, knight f5 idea, and then allowing queen h6, I think, was the main blunder. She could have at least knight g8 there, and it would have been fine. Yeah, this white will. Oh, now rook h6, rook e6 is checkmate. Now she only needs to reroute the knight to g4, knight h6, knight g4, and it's checkmate. Okay, she didn't spot it yet, but she will at some point. She will, because there is no way to prevent it. The king on e5. She took on d6. Okay. Yeah, there are no moves for black, and black will resign now, I think. Yeah, okay.
And both
black
similar
is not...
rated players. We see with white 2049, black 2012. So not a lot of difference between them as far as their ratings is concerned.
Okay, she didn't go for checkmate, but she'll win this game, but the important thing is to win the game. Doesn't matter how many moves it takes. Right.
There it goes. Black resigns and white wins. So that's of the fourth round. Let's just wait for the standings of round 4.
But these are the results, I guess. Is there a... Oh, we are going to another game.
We still have the fourth round. Yes, this will have some games of fourth round remaining. Coming to the end of this contest here. Soumya, who looks the favorite ones here?
Yeah, I'm trying to understand. I think black is... black lost the piece. She missed this queen f2 idea, I think. Because bishop on d1 was... fine. She played bishop c2, which was a blunder, and she allowed queen f2, queen into c2 idea. So now white will win this game because she's a piece up. And the king is also very weak. I mean, even with the piece on the board, the king was really weak for black, so she had to be careful. But now that white's a piece up as well, she has the attack and everything. So everything is in her favor. Yeah. You can take on... yeah, okay, queen e8. Yeah, it will be checkmate soon.
It's probably the first game today that we have seen so many pieces still there on the board while we are just 10-15 seconds away.
Oh, she went for queen e6. That's a very strange decision. She could have checkmated her opponent. I mean, instead of exchanging the queens. Because, now the pawn... Okay, she will... Now it's not clear because see, the pawns on the queen side are rolling. I mean, it was not at all required to go for this because now g4 and h3 and white basically, black basically will have passes on both the sides. And it's impossible to stop both of them. So actually black will win this. That's a very strange decision by white to exchange the queens. She could have checkmated her and just finished her off. Yeah. And now king c3. Yeah. She's going to be very upset. Now king d2 and king c1 and then b1 queen. And no, it's, yeah. Oh, okay. She wants to go to G1. She wants to go to G1 and take the bishop, and then she will come back with the queen, with the king and queen over here. That is her idea.
That's exactly what you said. Exactly. That's.
No, it's very upsetting. You know why? Not only to lose, but to lose a winning game, winning position. And especially when you see that, oh, there were these 1,000 ways in which I could have won, and I chose like the only way to not win the game. That's very upsetting usually. But the good part here is there is no break between rounds, so she will not even like get a chance to moan over her game. She will like, so she has that's the best part, I think. Yeah, she can just she can simply come back in the next round. Wang Quan will redeem herself in the next round probably and forget all about this one.
There she goes. Black wins. Interesting contest this. 3 minutes and.
Right. I was wondering if it's possible to go to the standings instead of the observe list so that we can check out the standings. I'll just check with the production.
Yes, so games of round 4 are done. We have results of round 4. So we'll have a couple of minutes before we start with round 5. So again, just a quick reminder, it's the blitz time control. So that's 3 minutes and 2 minutes increments per move, 2 seconds increment per move, and Swiss system format for the first ever online World Schools Championship Online Chess 2020 by ISF, and exclusive broadcasting partners, of course, are One Play Sports. Soumya, the standings.
Yeah. That's so. We have 2 Iranian girls and 1 Georgian girl leading the tournament right now. They are on 4 out of 4, and then there are 2 players on 3.5, and there are a lot of players on 3, and a lot of them on and only 2 on 2.5, and then a lot of players on 2. So yeah, and it looks like it looks like most of the higher rated girls, they are in the top 10 bracket. So yeah, great.
Yeah, so it's good time to throw a question to Soumya. Soumya, coming in on Facebook is, when you play a long game that goes for, say, for example, 5 or 6 hours, is there any point of time, is there a personal connection that you make with a pawn, a bishop, a rook, or a knight? We've heard a lot of grandmasters saying that I develop a connection with them and I don't want to lose them. So has it ever happened to you that there's a personal connection, emotional connection for you with the pawn or the bishop or the rook or the knight or the queen?
In the game, during a game?
Yes, during the game.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain setups that you like. For example, this King's Indian setup. Yeah, the previous game which we saw, where there was an opposite side castling, that one. Just now we saw it. That is a King's Indian setup, not exactly. We should develop the knight on e7. Usually you develop the knight on f6. And the g7 bishop is, the pride of your position. The dark squared bishop for black is the pride of your position, and you never want to give it up, even if you get an exchange in return. Like, say you want to exchange it for your opponent's rook, even then you don't want to give it up. It's what is keeping your position together, and at the same time it is what will perhaps create more threats later. So in certain positions, yes, but general, no. Only in certain, like, typical openings, you don't want to give up certain pieces, like fianchetto openings, your bishop, which is fianchettoed on g2 or g7. It is very dear to you and you would like to preserve it.
Okay.
Do you think the players must be feeling hungry after 4 rounds? I would be very hungry. I eat a lot during the game.
Oh, that's interesting. You played your longest game that you said for 7 hours. So what is generally the routine in those 7 hours of the game that you played? Do you go on walks, because we've seen grandmasters going on walks at times, or eating
Yes,
fruits, or what is generally your routine during a contest?
yeah, you can get up from the game when it's not your move usually. I mean, you can get up and roam around and look at the other games, or you can just go for a short walk. I mean, within the playing hall, not like go to the garden in front of the playing venue and play some Mario ball and come back. That you can't do. But within the venue, yes, you can just chill out a bit. And of course, you can eat. I mean, if you're hungry, and it's just impossible to, eat let's say palak paneer and naan on the board. So that's just not possible. That's why
You'll be
players.
dozing off, isn't it? You'll be dozing off if you do that.
It's not like it's not allowed, by the way. It is. You can take a full thali and eat. Nobody's going to say anything, but it's just practically inconvenient to do that, and also sort of light, I would say. So players usually eat dark chocolate or banana or dry fruits, nuts, convenient stuff that you can carry in a small bag or in your pocket, and which also keeps you well nourished during the game.
What was your snack or your meal, your dry fruit or a chocolate that you
Or
carried
Nutri
during
bar,
the
yeah, I
contest?
even like Nutri bars.
Okay.
Not the energy, not the protein bar which you eat after, let's say, a workout. Not that one, but a general energy bar. That's also it's tasty and also nutritious. So I usually eat dry fruits and a banana, and if I'm hungrier, then Nutri bar during a game.
Any specific meals that you follow on the day of your contest? Say, for example, if you're starting in the afternoon, any particular things for breakfast, for lunch, before the match?
Not really, but you generally have a good breakfast and a light lunch, because the games are played in the afternoon. It depends on the tournament. Some of the games are played even in the morning. In India, many games are played in the morning. But in Europe, most of the games are played in the afternoon. Oh, the games have started. The games have started.
Yes,
So let's
round
have a
5
look.
begins. We have Mia and Mot. We have seen their game before, both of them.
Right.
It's
We have been following
2049
them.
and 2093. So again, not a lot of difference between their rankings. It promises to be an interesting contest.
So White has opted for a King's Indian setup. From White, like King's Indian attack setup with this bishop on g2, knight on not exactly, because she developed the knight on d2 usually, c3 usually you develop the knight on d2 and the other knight on f3, but it, I think, got converted into a King's Indian attack setup now, like sort of. And but black has got her knight to e3. Yeah, I think White ka thoda na like she was a bit slow. She could have been a little faster because she wasted this time going knight d2 and f4. I mean, she could have simply played f4 first and then developed the knight on g1. She could have got it in one move instead of spending 2 tempos, playing knight f3, then d2, then back to f3. Yeah, now black can go knight d4. Yeah, that's what she does. So if white takes on d knight, you can take it with the pawn, and then your pawn on e3 is a monster. I mean, it's going to just suffocate white till no end. Now rook into f4 is possible. Rook into f4, g into f4, knight e2 fork, which is a check, and attack the queen on c1, but she doesn't go for that. She goes for e2, which is also good. Actually, black's position is fantastic now. She goes for e2, but okay, I preferred rook f4 somehow. I really like that. Okay.
What are you doing with the black pawn on e2? What do you do with that?
Yeah, I think she wants to play knight f3, bishop f3, and g5 maybe. So white has taken rook into f3, and now rook e1. Yeah, now the pawn can. The problem is the pawn can die because it is not supported.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Otherwise, it's a great pawn. It's a great pawn if it were alive, but the problem is it's going to die.
But it's still alive. It's still surviving somehow.
It's still alive so far, but it's going to die. At some point, it's going to be like, okay. It's just holding on to its last breath, like oxygen. Yeah, she shouldn't have played e2, I think. She missed rook f2 probably. She was probably counting on rook e1 and then take on f3, bishop f3, g5, and she wins a piece. She missed rook f2, I think. Right, so white managed to survive. White managed to survive despite playing a bad opening, I would say. Oh, okay. This was a good trap, but is it working? Now let's say you take the bishop on d3 and I attack your knight on. Let's say I attack your knight. What are you doing? What is white doing for maybe g5? What if I play g5 here? Not clear. She played bishop e5. That is another way to take the piece. So you can play queen e4. That is one option. Is there any other option? Knight g6 is an option which I'm sure white is considering. Knight g6, 8g, queen into g6, queen into d5, queen h6, king g8, and there's nothing more, nothing in that position. Okay, she took rook into e2. She took rook into e2 and she decided to maintain her bishop on d5. That is an interesting decision. Yeah, probably a good decision because the bishop on d5 is really strong. Okay, she played b5, undermining the bishop on d5 because basically the bishop on d5 is so strong because there is some pawn that supports it. Otherwise, it might not be able to hold on to the d5 square. Oh, bishop c6. Now what if... Okay. But queen d1, king g2. Acha, rook e1 she played. She played rook e1. And now what if... Okay. This is awkward. This is awkward because now black will play queen g3 check. So white needs to stop that. White can give queen e5 check and exchange the queens. She doesn't go for that. She allows queen g3, which is a very strange decision. I mean, you cannot go queen g2 because the even rook is hanging, so you have to move the king. And then I take on h3 first of all. Then I give another. Okay, this is very awkward.
Yeah,
Very awkward. And I don't understand. She probably missed queen g3. Sometimes it's hard to find, like, spot these long range moves. You're just focusing on one area of the board and your focus on the other area of the board goes off. And you're just like concentrating on one area of the board. Yeah. She could have even played bishop f4. But bishop g7 is also a very good move. Now she's read. Oh, bishop. Oh, okay. Yeah, bishop g7 works. I was wondering if queen e8 works, but it doesn't. So yeah. Yeah, now there'll be checkmate, or at least win the queen. Yeah, rook f2 at least wins the queen, and queen into g4. She played queen h4. She wants to take everything with check, but king f1 white will play. Okay, she wants to take the pawn on b2 and create a pass pawn for herself with the c pawn. She'll take on b2, and now the c pawn is a passed pawn. Now king h6, maybe king h6, or okay, king f6 also is fine. Yeah, black is completely winning. Queen e. Okay, why not queen e4? Queen e2. Sorry, she could have played queen e2 instead. Okay. No, this is also winning. Queen b1 could have been to check. Yeah, now queen e3 check, and basically the rook on d7 is undefended, so black will win the rook. If it was on, okay, actually there is no hope, because even if it was on c7, black would have first won the b6 pawn, and yeah. But now, of course, he won the rook, and she'll win the game as well. Topsy-turvy game. Very.
Indeed. Just 3 seconds, and do we see a move from white? No, we don't. So time expired, and black wins this contest. Good game, this one.
Nice. Yeah. Black played well. Okay, the only thing I did not like was her e2, her decision to play e2. Like, she could have preserved her pawn, but otherwise she played really well.
Yes, with the last game of round 5. It's down there. Soumya, quick analysis and give me your verdict.
No, this will be a draw unless black makes a major blunder. Because there is no way to win this. Basically, black will keep her king on g7, and there is no way to push the pawn. She'll just keep moving her bishop. I mean, you just cannot make any progress, so it will be a draw.
Making those quick moves, so they're getting those 2 seconds increment. But however, the result looks far away right now. You want to give up, do you? As kids, you just want to keep playing till the time runs out. So yeah, it's a stalemate, and that's a drawn game. With that, yes, we come to the end of round 5 and the other standings.
Yeah, so she is now we have a sole leader in the girls category. For the first time, we have a sole leader. Nia Dongwani from Georgia is leading with 5 out of 5 points, 100% score. And there are 2 players on 4.5, Kachatri and Paktinath. And then there are a lot of players on 4 and 2 players on 3.5, and then a lot of players at 3 points. So Dongwani will either play Kachatri or Paktinath depending on some permutations and combinations in the next game. There are 11 rounds.
That's right. That's right.
That's a lot.
Yes, in the meanwhile, just have a quick look at the tournament details for all our viewers. The first ever ISF World Schools Championship Online Chess 2020. The ISF World School Championship Online Chess 2020 is an online event being held on the virtual competition platform by the name of Premium Chess. That's the platform. Boys and girls from 35 countries and 5 continents have participated in the ISF World Schools Championship Online Chess 2020. The ISF has allocated the broadcasting rights to One Play Sports. The 2 organizations signed a partnership agreement to broadcast 3 rounds of competition. That's the under-17 qualifications and the finals to the One Play Sports platforms on website, Facebook, and their YouTube channel. And that's where they're receiving a lot of comments and questions from all our viewers. So there comes the rules. The players will be divided into 2 age categories. Under 17, that is the age of 15, 16, and 17, date of birth born in 2003 to 2005, and under 14, those born in 2006 and 2007. All tournaments will be played in the Blitz time control. It means that every player will have 3 minutes thinking time with an increment 2 seconds per move. The qualifying tournaments will be 9 or 11 rounds depending on the number of players, and the first 40 players will qualify for the finals. Final tournaments will be over 9 rounds. Each tournament will start at 1400 hours UTC, that's 7:30 in the evening IST and 2200 SGT. Technical meetings will be made 5 minutes prior to the beginning of each tournament. The TC will communicate and inform the participants about the information at the Premium Chess ISF Playing Arena. Premium Chess ISF Playing Arena, that's the online platform for the first ever event in the year 20 for the ISF.
Amazing. Amazing. 35 countries is a big number. Yeah, 35 countries is a big number, 5 continents. Really cool that there has been such a big interest shown in this tournament. Usually, by the way, chess is like one of the most popular sports in the world. And when we play in the Olympiad, there are like 135 or 140 teams who participate. So there are almost 2,000 players basically because men and women, yeah. So 135 teams in men and 135 in women, and there are 5 players in each team, and plus coaches and officials. So that number is another separate number. So usually there are like 2,000-3,000 people in a chess Olympiad, and it's crazy.
I was coming to that, Soumya. You have participated in 2 chess Olympiads. So how was that experience of yours?
Yeah, it was amazing. So the first time I played was in 2012, which was held in Turkey, Istanbul. And we finished 4th, which was the highest performance so far by the women's team in Olympiad. And the second time I played was in 2016, which was in Baku, Azerbaijan. And that time we finished 5th. So definitely we did really well both the times. But finally, when you're playing for your country, the main aim is to win a medal. And anything else feels like, okay, next time. You're a bit disappointed for sure. But 4th and 5th is also good enough because, as I mentioned, there were more than around 130 countries participating. So, like, there is something to be proud of for sure. And in general, you feel really happy to be there because, chess is an individual sport and you're usually playing for yourself. And even when you represent your country in, let's say, Asian or World Championship tournaments, you're still Soumya from India, yeah? But when you play in a team tournament, like the Chess Olympiad, you are India, you are your country, right? And that brings in another feeling altogether. So it's an amazing feeling to play in the Chess Olympiad, and I really cherish my memories, and I hope to make it to the team for the next one as well.
We surely will. Some
And
best wishes
we recently
from
won
everyone.
the FIDE Olympiad. Of course, I mean, I'm sure all the viewers must have followed it. It was the online Olympiad, not the over the board. But I think that was a phenomenal achievement because it was really strong. It's a strong event, and I think our players played really good chess. And in general, there is a lot of pressure as well, when you're playing in such a big tournament and everybody's watching you and so much is at stake. And I think our players were just up to the task. Our team did phenomenally well. I mean, it was such a proud moment to watch them win the gold. It was amazing. Did you by any chance follow it? Could you follow the tournament online?
Yes, I did. I was about to ask you the same question as to what a wonderful event that was. That again online, but still it doesn't deter the spirit and the participation from the players.
Yeah, and it was really strong because all the countries sent their strongest teams. Yeah, at least as strong. I mean, okay, there were a few countries, a few top players who chose not to participate, but most of the strong players played in this tournament. So it was a really remarkable achievement.
Absolutely. Soumya, there's a question coming up on our Facebook platform. And the question is, how has the game evolved in the past 5 years in India? I think you can just keep the question for hold in the next break because we have the 6th round coming up.
Yes, sure.
Yes. So round 6 starts. It's Zina versus Nia. Nia once again. It's 2049 versus 2020. So again, equally
closely contested match.
That's right, equal competitors, these two.
Interesting. So I don't think this opening has a name because usually when you develop the bishop on g2, you put the knight on e2 and it's a reti. And I don't know, this setup, it's basically a setup that white has chosen to take and black has chosen to reply with what you could call as a Slav setup. I mean, with pawn on d5 and the pawn on c6. By the way, most of these openings, how do you know which opening is it? Is by, first of all, looking at the pawn structure. How do you place your pawns? And then the pieces as well, but mainly the pawns. First, how the pawns are placed, and then how the pieces are placed. And that's how you understand which opening it is. I think black's bishop on d3 is a beast and needs to be exchanged ASAP. I don't know. B4 comes to mind right now because the knight came to c5 and it would be like white definitely needs to exchange it. Definitely needs to push it away. But let's say white plays b4 right now, then black can play knight e6 with the idea of d4 maybe. So white is definitely considering b4 here, as far as I understand.
Taking a lot of time here is Nia to make her move. It was just 3 minutes.
Okay, she went for g5. So g5 94, and now let's see what does she do. Okay, she took the knight. So now now she'll, because if she would have taken with the pawn, white could have played b4. Knight h5, but bishop f8. So basically the pawn on g7 is attacked because the bishop on b2 and the knight on h5 both attack it. So black needs to defend it. And I think the best way would be to go bishop to f8, defending all threats. Let's see what g6 would be a really bad decision here, because bishop into e4. White takes bishop into e4, and once you eliminate this knight on e4, the dark square around the king, they will just cause havoc in black's position. Like white can go to knight f6 and so many threats. So g6 of course not. Bishop f8 is the only and the best move in this position. Now the queen is coming to f5. The bishop on d3 is really strong. She had to think of exchanging it. Even now she does. She can come back knight g3 maybe. Oh, now maybe bishop h3. How's bishop h3 now? Bishop h3, queen g6, f5. Why did she go for bishop h3? Because she did not like queen h3, king h3 and knight f2. And then knight into d1. That's what she didn't like, perhaps. Okay.
White queen goes to g4.
Yeah. Now it's okay. Now it's okay for white, maybe. Because basically there is again no big target, for black. Black. What is black going to target? d2 pawn, but I will support it. And then what? Bishop d3 black can play. Okay, she played bishop e4. Okay. It seems to be okay for white now, because she even managed to exchange the light squared bishops. So I don't think she has anything to worry about. Now black will try to play d4 and block the b2. Why didn't she play d4? Okay, fine. But now bishop f6. And this king, I don't know if white will ever manage to do it, but let's say she manages to open the position, then the king on g8, and it will be like a big mess. So black has to keep the files closed, the c file and all those things. Also, the rook on h2 is terribly misplaced. It's not doing anything for now except for defending the d2 pawn. Oh, but she chooses to go for c4, huh? Okay. Okay. Yeah. The c4, dc4 was a bad decision. How much time do both the players have? White has 49 seconds. Black has 1 minute 13 seconds. She will lose the e5 pawn as well. Oh wow, this was the trap. This was the trap. D4 was the trap. Okay, so white is winning this game for sure now. Because the only compensation that black could have had was after rook e5. But now even that is gone. That chance is gone. So. Yeah, once the position opens, black pe mate ho jayega. Or also white has so much material ahead. Yeah, DC was a big blunder. She missed this bishop e5 and trapping the rook. She could have taken with the rook on c4 and it would have been completely fine. So white is winning this game for sure. Yeah.
Black has resigned. Black has resigned there with 33 seconds remaining.
Yeah. Because none of her pieces were moving. I mean, she had no ideas basically, and white would have just anyway cruised through. Like there's nothing to attack. There is no trick. There are no tricks in the position. That's the reason black decided to resign.
Yes, we still have some contests remaining in round 6.
Oh, there are many games going on. Okay.
Yes, simultaneously many games happen.
Let's see. Let's see. Again, the rook on d2, but it won't get trapped for now at least. But Acha, she decided to exchange it. So white is 2 pawns up. And black's only hope would be to create some mating threat. Acha, black even blundered the yeah. टाइम भी चला गया और अभी रूक भी चला जाएगा c2 पे तो दोनों में से
yes black ran out of time there and thus white wins.
Yeah,
just quickly check if there are any more contests remaining of round 6. Again, it's difficult to get an entire contest now, but at least the last 30 seconds also can be interesting, can be exciting at times. Just quickly check if there are any contests in progress of round 6. Yes, we still do. Van and Veronica with 24 seconds with the black, 5 seconds with the white. Soumya, your take on this?
black is completely winning. She's a exchange up and she has a pass pawn, and she will definitely win this game. Now rook e3, black can play rook e3 and then take on g3 and play f1 queen, because the only thing that's stopping the queen is the knight, so you just take the knight. And now h4, h5, h3, h2 and make a queen. And you can pre-move it. I don't know if on this platform you can, but on many of the platforms you can pre-move. So so that you don't lose time, yeah? So you can just push like kuch bhi white, like whatever white plays, I'm going to just push the pawn and
okay, all right.
Make a queen.
Yes, so with that contest, it looks like, is it over? A couple of contests, maybe in the last few seconds. Just quickly have a look. Yes, still there with Fatim and Alam.
Okay, black will definitely win this game unless she stalemates, which she won't. And now she just needs to be careful not to stalemate. Now f4 is checkmate. Okay, she missed mate in 1, but it's fine. Pawn to f4 instead of bishop f4 would have been checkmate. And now bishop e3 is checkmate. Yeah, great.
Checkmate it is. A victory for black.
So Zahidar Anahita is the only girl playing Diana against Diana Lomia. That's the only game that's going on.
Well spotted there, Soumya.
Okay, so black is a full rook up and she will definitely win this game. Right. Yeah. Shift d4. Okay, rook c3 check here. If king b2, then rook c5. So king b1 or king d1. King b1. Now king d2, I can say. Rook b3 and rook into b5. Okay.
So the bishop and white has resigned. Yes. Right then, with that, round 6 comes to an end.
Oh, so Nia won her game, right? Whom did she play? That was the game where the bishop on e5, like she played bishop e5 and trapped the rook on e4. That was the game. Yeah, so she won her game and now she's on 6 points. She's on 100% score. She must be feeling very confident, right? Like to win 6 out of 6, she must be on a... and also to win this game because she was actually in a difficult position, but she managed to trick her opponent. So definitely she must be feeling very confident.
So it must be quite challenging as well. It's been an hour and a half and there are already 6 rounds, so 6 contests that these kids, you have to call them kids, under 17. So in an hour and a half, they've played 6 contests, 3-minute contests, so quick thinking, that too online with the perfect cursor. It's just fascinating to see these kids play.
Yeah, I hope they're eating something, staying hydrated, because kids, they often feel like during the game you shouldn't eat something, you shouldn't have water maybe because you might lose time, but actually it's the exact opposite. You should, so that you stay hydrated and so that you have enough energy for the rest of your game. Otherwise it will affect your decision making basically.
Yes, all those youngsters listening to our broadcast on One Play Sports, important to take some tips from the woman grandmaster Soumya Swaminathan. Always keep yourself hydrated. Important to also keep taking some dry fruits as well. So Soumya, before we start with
this is for commentators as well, not only for
yes. So before we go ahead with round 7, there was a question that we had before the 6th round, and that was, how has the game evolved in the past 5 years in India?
Okay, I think it's more of a like in the last 5 years we had many more grandmasters. We had far many more grandmasters and also a lot of grandmasters who are in their, let's say, 20s and 30s have started training youngsters. So that has helped in creating more, in creating stronger players, because there were two challenges earlier, which is exposure, like strong tournaments, and the other challenge was coaching. So now the coaching side at least is improved a lot. And when it comes to tournaments, we definitely have a lot of tournaments. We have a lot of tournaments, but we still need to have more elite tournaments. We don't have an elite tournament as such in India, except for the Tata Steel tournament, which is rapid and blitz event, by the way. It's not a classical event, but still it's really great. But we don't have like an elite classical tournament in India. And that would really change things. But okay, in the last 5 years, we have a lot of good players. In the last decade, actually, we have a lot of players who have come in, and now we have 65 grandmasters, which is a lot, and which is something amazing. Yeah.
So how was your interaction with some of the greatest that we have had in India? Could you share some experiences of your maybe taking tips or having a conversation with the grandmasters?
I will start with Anand.
Of course, I wanted to ask specifically about him. Yes.
So when I was a kid, obviously, I started playing chess in the 90s, and most people of that generation who took up chess because of Anand, because he was playing at the top and he provided that inspiration for all of us. So he was the one who was responsible for this huge chess boom that happened in the 90s and early 2000s, and a lot of kids started to play chess because of him, and I was one of them. And for a really long time, I did not have much interaction with him, except for okay, when I won World Juniors, he sent me an email congratulating me, and I was super excited and everything. But that was it. Yeah, I mean, he was this hero whom you look up to from a distance, right? And also, he was very private, right? He was very private himself. So there were not many interviews, or there was not much material also to read up him as such. And in the last decade, actually, last few years, let's say, not even decade, let's say 4-5 years, I've started interacting with him a bit as a person, and he's amazing. I mean, you know that he's this great legend as a chess player, but then you meet him and you get to know him as a person. Now you're just inspired by him as a person because he's so simple. His simplicity actually shocks you, and he can talk on a variety of topics because he has a lot of interests apart from chess as well, and he's very witty. So I think we got really lucky to have a role model like him, who is so simple, so humble, and yet so inspiring. So it kind of encourages you also to be like him, right? When you have such a role model in front of you. So yeah, this is something I really wanted to share.
Of course, and in India there are certain role models, but chess is equal to Vishwanathan Anand once upon a time in the 90s, and that's where we had the real boom of chess. Thanks for sharing your experience there, Soumya. In the meanwhile, yes, we have the 7th round that has begun of the under-17 girls category of the ISF World Schools Championship Online Chess 2020.
Yes, and finally we get to see a Sicilian defense. I mean, it's one of the most popular openings in chess, and for the first time today, we are getting to see a Sicilian defense over the board, like an open Sicilian. There was a Sicilian defense earlier as well, but it was White chose not to play the open Sicilian, and this is the Sveshnikov system. Usually. Okay, now that white has taken on f6 with the bishop, black should take with the pawn. Otherwise, the pawn on d6 is attacked, remains undefended. And now white will win the pawn on d6. White has the choice to take knight into e7, knight e7, queen into d6. Actually, on the 8th move, when white played bishop g5, bishop e7 was a mistake. She should have actually played a6, which was the main line of Sveshnikov, and then basically drive the b5 knight away because it attacks the pawn on d6, and then play bishop e7. First play b5, attack with the threat of b4, and then play bishop e7. That's the main line. But black allowed white to spoil black's structure with bishop f6, and now white has played queen h5. She decides not to take the pawn on d6. I think I would have taken the pawn on d6 instead of queen h5, like let's say knight e7, queen e7, queen into d6. But this is also good. Queen h5, she has played a6 for knight c3 Kildia, and then she has long castled. So she wants to basically play for an attack, and she will now play rook d3 and rook to g3, rook lift. It's called a rook lift, such a transfer. And the problem is that white does not have rook h3 here because the bishop on e6 guards the h3 square. So white cannot threat checkmate in 1. So she's going to try and threat checkmate in 2 by, now she played rook g3, and then she's going to go queen h6. But then white black simply defends the g7 mate with rook to g8. And again, white has to really look for ideas because there is no checkmate there. So even though this plan looks really attractive to play for the kingside attack instead of taking the d6 pawn, I'm not sure whether objectively it was the right decision. But we will see. Because in blitz especially, risks do pay off, and playing for an attack does pay off. Bishop d3 is a good move. She defends the pawn on c2, which could come under attack later because rook on c8 and knight on d4. And black has ideas like b5, b4, attacking, dismantling the knight on c3. She does go for b5. Now she'll go for b4 on the next move. So, yeah, I think black is also playing quite well. Maybe king d1 here. Actually, she takes on e7. I don't like this decision very much, but okay.
I'm sure all these are going to listen to the broadcast later so that they can learn from what our woman grandmaster has to offer.
With, wow, she missed rook h3. Oh wow, this was so pretty. Did you see this, Chaitanya? When she played knight d5, now I have to eat my words because actually knight d5 was a great move. I'll tell you why. Because I was thinking black can go back queen d8, but then white goes queen h6, threatening mate g7. And for rook g8, knight f6, because the bishop on e7 is not there anymore. And for bishop e6, rook h3. This was white's idea. Amazing. White has played amazing chess. This Setare Seyede. Yeah, very nice trap. This was a very pretty trap and very easy to miss. Very easy to miss. So the mate on h7 is now unstoppable. For knight e2, she should not take on e2, even though she can take it, but she shouldn't. She can play king b1. She won't take it, I'm sure. She'll play king b1. Because the problem is, if after bishop e2, you have bishop e4, right? And you defend the mate on h7. Even though you're a piece up, I mean, it's better to give checkmate than be a piece up, no? So, she, yeah, very nice game by white. Very nice game.
This black was running out of time as well. So, white wins there. That's Setare. Was a little low when it comes to rankings in comparison to in the black, but as Soumya had mentioned, it doesn't count for a lot when it comes to the actual contest.
White played really well this game. I think till now, from all the games we have seen so far, this is my favorite. She played really well. Like, this trap is so brilliant. And I'm just wondering what Black could have done to defend it. Like, I'm really not sure. Maybe she could have played Rook G8 instead of B5. Maybe that was the only way. But yeah, that was probably the only way to defend it. But even then, White would have been better.
Many more contests still in progress. We go to Veronica and Nia with 56 seconds with the Black, and Veronica has only 11 seconds.
So White's threat is bishop into E6, Queen E6, Queen G7 mate. So she has given a check on C5. Now, okay, fine. Knight D4, but now Queen F5. So okay, White will, Black will win this because she's 2 pieces up.
And also almost a minute up. There it goes. Black wins.
Yeah. So Nia is 7 out of 7. Huh?
You followed all her games, isn't it? All the contests of Nia, we've been following of all the 7 rounds.
So I think next round the pairing will be Nia versus Setare, right? Because Setare was playing on the 3rd board. Okay. Zahidefar is also there. Zahidefar.
Let's quickly moving on to Panya and
White.
Suri.
Okay, this is interesting. Rook E5. Yeah, and H7. Yeah, White will win this easily.
There comes the verdict. Just 13 more seconds. White is the favorite. There it goes. Right. Black resigns with just 6 seconds remaining. White wins. So it's Suri, Ana Paula, who has beaten the quite highly rated in this competition, 2006 versus 1318.
Yeah, but there was a huge difference in their rating.
Yes.
So I think all the games are over, of the 7th round as well.
Yes, we'll just quickly have a look at the board that will give us a clear idea of the 7th round. 11 rounds, remember? It's the Swiss system format. Lot of entries, and thus to give equal participation to everyone. It's the virtual competition platform Premium Chess, in which the online chess championship is being held by ISF, the first ever championship in this year. Yes, quickly, 7th round, another few
there are games going on.
Yes. Venush and Kiana. 2 seconds with White.
Knight on B5 is A4 is trapped. Yeah, Black wins on time, but I think she could have won on the board as well because the knight on A4 was sort of trapped. So there was a good chance that she would have won it over the board as well.
So this format Blitz is not only about strategy, it's also implementing it quickly because you just have 3 minutes. So in the long run, you might become champions, but here you have to be really quick. With those, there goes the standing after round 7. So.
Right. So I think Nia will play either of the Iran girls. And then there are 2 players on 5.5 and a few players on 5. Interesting. So, and I think she has already played the girl who's ranked on number 2 right now, right? I think so. Not 100% sure. So I think the next round pairing will be Nia Dongwani versus Seth, who's on number 3 right now, who's playing on 6 points. Her performance rating, because she has won all the games so far. Can you see the tab next to score? There is a tab ELO, and next to it there is a tab performance rating, which is basically your performance in the event. This is the level you're performing at. And because she has won all the games so far, her performance rating is 2593, which is amazing. At 2500 level is the grandmaster level. So because because she has won all the games, so it boosts her performance by a huge margin as compared to, let's say, the number 2 or number 3 ranked girls. Even though they are also doing really well, they are also on 5.5 out of 6.5 out of 7. They are on 6 out of 7, but that's also a great score. But yeah. So what is your prediction? Do you have a prediction, Chaitanya, now that 7 rounds are over?
I'll just play safe here. I'll just follow what you've just said. The one on top looks the favorite. But see, as soon as the game starts, 3 minutes, it's very difficult to predict a clear winner here. At that point of time, the strategy goes well, and 3 minutes, there also is the pressure of the clock ticking down. And just tell me, Soumya, when they're playing this, there is from the corner of the eye, the players definitely have a look at the clock, don't they?
Yeah, 100%. Because especially when you're on seconds, you're only thinking about clock and not on like last 10 seconds, let's say. Yeah, you just make a move. Until you have maybe 1 minute, you are playing quite comfortably, and after that, you are definitely trying to play fast and not come under time pressure.
Yes, a couple of more minutes till we begin with the next round. That's round 8 of the under 17 girls category. Tomorrow, that is Sunday, we're again beginning at 1400 hours UTC for the under 17 boys category. Again, all these mouth-watering contests promises us to give some real talent in this game. And as Soumya mentioned at the beginning of the day, that the winners will get a laptop and will also be able to participate in higher competitions. So to give these gifts and prizes when it comes to school students. So could you share the prize or the gifts that you have won apart from your bigger medals, but maybe a laptop or any such goodies you have won in school for winning any chess competitions?
No. I never played in a tournament like this where there was like some prize in kind, except for one. I have won a book, chess book. It was very interesting, by the way. The concept was, it was a blitz tournament in Germany. So at that time I was living in Germany, and I just played this tournament, because it was there. It was not like some big tournament or something, just a local tournament. And the concept was that let's say you come first, in the tournament. Then there will be, the prizes will be all the prizes were books. And if you come first, then you are the first one to go and choose the book you like.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's the advantage of coming first, that you get to choose the book you like. Whereas the person who comes, let's say there are 10 prizes, 10 books. So that if you come 10th, you still get a book, but you won't get a book of your choice. You just get the book which no one else picked. So yeah, that was the only time I think I got a prize in kind. I have never played a tournament where the first prize was a laptop. I think I would have been very excited to play, especially when I was in school, to play in such a tournament. Like, yeah, it's always nice, no, to win a laptop. Like, it's such a useful prize to win. Yeah.
Of course, also for chess players, they can also always keep practicing by playing on the laptop. So that's an ideal thing that could be given to a chess player, a chess enthusiast, a machine, a computer, a laptop, so that they can always develop on this skills.
Yeah. Once I think for the Russian championship, national championship, the first prize was a car. That's nice. No?
That prize to win.
Yeah, that would be win. Yeah. Did you play sports during your school days, by the way? Did your school have a school team? And which sports did you play?
We did. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. So, see, coming from Mumbai, the sports is always becomes an integral part of any school curriculum. We always have a teacher. We always have a team. So there's a dedicated cricket team. There's a swimming team. There's kabaddi. There is chess. There is carom. And the best thing that can also happen is you can bunk lectures and you get attendance for it as well. So that becomes always an advantage of you being a part of a sport team. And if you win, you always get the recognition in the school hall, in the assembly, early morning before the prayers, you get the applause. So yes, we had a cricket team. We had a football team as well. Kabaddi was very popular back then. It has become more popular now. And chess, always we had the intra-school and inter-school competitions also of chess. So yes, sports was an integral part of my childhood. If we speak of general broadcasters, anyone who does commentary or becomes an expert, always have played some of the other sport, if not at an experience or a professional level, but just there knowing those rules, playing it just for the sake of interest, and then becoming broadcaster. It's always important to play sport, and as many sports as possible is always good to be a part of. Any other sports that chess you ever were a part of, or do you have a liking towards? You mentioned Yuzvendra Chahal at the beginning, so maybe get or any other sport that you are interested in apart from, of course, chess.
So I like a lot of different sports, but it depends on which age group you're talking about. So when I was a kid, I used to swim, and I played state level. But then we shifted to another city, and there was no swimming pool near our house, so I stopped swimming.
Okay.
So practical problems in life. And then I used to play judo for. I used to go for a judo class. Of course, that I didn't play competitively. Even swimming, I didn't play competitively. ऐसे ही घर के पास swimming pool था तो जाते थे. Okay, the games have started, so maybe we can look at the games and then we can continue our discussion in the break.
So of course we can. It's time for round 8, and the matches Veronica and Mutare.
So this is probably the second board match. And she has played a Reti opening. White has gone for Reti. And she plays this opening is very popular, is it? Or is this the same girl who played it against Nia as well? Don't remember now. But we saw this opening 2 rounds ago, basically, with this knight to d2, then f4, then knight comes back to f3.
Yes,
And as I mentioned,
White could have been the same girl.
Yeah. And as I mentioned, White need no time doing this. She can simply play f4 first and then play knight f3. Then she saves that time. But okay. And then this is another way to play. Basically, it's a close Sicilian now. And White is going to play for attack. knight e8 is a good move, because her idea could be that if white plays g4, then black can play f5. Now we'll see if that was her idea. No, that wasn't. Okay, I thought that was her idea. Because usually it's a typical idea in this position, but black has other plans, I guess. Basically black does not usually want to allow white to play f5, so black herself plays f5. But okay, as I mentioned, chess is basically a decision. It's not like everyone is trying to create something on their own and show that their understanding is better than their opponents. But now already see white. Oh, she played knight e5. Okay, I thought she'll play bishop e5, but okay. Now black should be careful not to allow f6, because otherwise after f6, black's bishop will be really miserable on h8. So that is something, yeah. So she has played rook e8 so that for f6 she can take and go bishop f8, so that the bishop is not locked on h8. And then if she can get something like d5 and bishop d6, she would be happy. Let's say now you can play d5 actually. She did not go for it, but black could have gone for d5, because after ed5, the f6 pawn was hanging on, so that would have been fine. She plays queen d2. Queen d2 with the idea of bishop h6. She wants to exchange the dark squared bishops. Now that the pawn is on f6, she can create a mating net around black's king. So yeah, bishop h6 has been played. Queen d8 is a good move. For bishop into f8, she will take queen into f8. Oh, now she take on. Can she take on? Oh my god, I see a trap. I see a trap. I see a trap. Now rook f6. White can play knight h5, and for gh5, rook into f6. Let's see. She didn't do it. Okay, she played queen f8. She also spotted it. So okay, so queen g5 she played. Now maybe h6. Yeah, h6 is a good move, because the queen on g5 is really annoying and you want to drive it away. And next move, you could think of playing, okay, king h7 is also a good move. King h7 is also a good move, just controlling and supporting all the weaknesses, safeguarding your king basically. Rook f2, idea rook to f1 and doubling on f file. Let's see what black goes for. Now her bishop on b5 is doing nothing basically, and she needs to give it some job. The bishop on b5 is quite jobless at the moment. White's position is still better because of the pawn on f6, but if she can and also her rook on b8, for example, is not playing, right? It's just there, like it's not doing anything. Whereas all of white's pieces are creating threats against black's position. So that's the main. So now white has gone for a pawn sacrifice, opening the diagonal for her bishop on g2, which was the only piece which was sleeping, and now it is also going to wake up, because she will go bishop d next move. So black took on e5 with the rook. I'm not sure if this pawn sacrifice was necessary, but it is definitely a good idea, because now knight e4 attacking the pawn on d6. I mean, it is an interesting idea, especially I mean, in blitz, you want to create some threats constantly. Black can play d5 the next move. So maybe white can go for queen g3 here, attacking the rook on e5, so that you prevent d5. She goes for bishop f3. Okay. But now what if I play d5? Okay, she didn't go for it. She played bishop c6. And she wants to take the knight. I think she'll take the knight now. Yeah. She took the knight. Now d5. Yeah. Black survived it, huh? I don't see any problem for black now. Queen f4 is a good move. Queen d6 is a good move. Is a good reply. Yeah, black is fine now. Black is fine, and black is a pawn up, and there is queens are getting exchanged. So oh, bishop d5, but now rook f6, queen into d6. This is good. This is good. This is very good. This is a very good move. So black can't take on d5 because the b8 rook, which was sleeping, doing nothing, it's hanging also now. So it's the like causing so many problems in black's position. Bishop d5 was a really good move, and black shouldn't have allowed it. Black shouldn't have allowed it. She could have played rook b e8 on the previous move instead of rook e6. I think rook e6 was a bad idea. Let's see how white handles the position now. Because she's, oh, queen e7. Okay. Queen e7. Okay, not bad. Yeah, queen c7 is a good move because the only diagonal on which black can give checks to the king on h2 is this one, b8 h2 diagonal. So she controls it with her queen. Yeah, okay. Queen b2 was okay. Now queens will get exchanged and she will win the d4 pawn. This should be an easy win. This should be an easy win. Rook e3 now. Yeah. And now c4 and just push the pawn. Now just push the c pawn because now maybe c5. Yeah, rook e6 and now c6. Now c6. Okay. C6 was a blunder because king into e6. So rook d6. g5, c6. Now c7. Because knight c7, rook d7 check and you will win the knight. Yeah. White will cruise through. She's a rook up and she's definitely winning this. Yeah.
Down the 2 pawns, but there's definitely a rook up, so that'll be an advantage for white.
It's a huge advantage. Now king g4 and rook into g5 on the next move. It's great.
Good contest there. Without in
yes.
White, the black had no option but to resign. We've come to round 8, and yes, still a couple of contests happening. We go on to on against Suri, 1961 the rating, and oh, White has run out of time. Actually, no, she hasn't. Six seconds with White, and time has expired. Yes, for White, Won Qian, she ran out of time. So it's going to be black. That's Suri Ana Paula. Her rating 1318, lesser than her competitor, her opponent in this contest. That was Won Qian at 1961. But as Soumya had been telling us the last couple of hours, that the ratings, yes, to an extent they matter, but at that point of time, the strategy, the pressure, handling of the pressure, 3 minutes, it becomes a difficult task. perhaps the last contest of round 8. Qiu and Xu. Just a pawn up is black. It's all about survival right now for white, and maybe not allowing the pawn. Looks like this will end in the draw. White king and the black king are the two ones making their moves. Black king to g4, white king to g1. Still is interesting, and there we go. It's a stalemate. That's a drawn game between Xu and Qiu. Have we done with all the contests of games of round 8? Yes, we are. Just quickly have a glance through the standings. There we go. Not a lot of changes in the standings after the end of round 8. As you can see on the right side of your screens as well, that the qualification tournament, this is for under 17 girls. At the end of round 8, yes, we have completed round 8 and we'll be beginning with round 9 shortly. And just a quick reminder to all our viewers on One Play Sports that this is the first competition this year being conducted by ISF World Schools, because this is the online chess championship 2020. It began on the 3rd of October and is being held on the virtual competition platform called as the Premium Chess. Under 17 category qualifications on 10th and 11th of October, that is today. We have seen almost 8 rounds, 3 more to go of the under 17 girls category. Tomorrow, starting 1400 hours UTC, we'll be witnessing the under 17 boys category. And boys and girls from 35 countries and 5 continents have participated. So that's quite a lot of participation. Kids under 15 and under 17, under 14, pardon me, and under 17 sitting at home and making the most of the time sitting at home and participating in this championship. Of course, the winner of the 2 categories will be getting a laptop and participation into the higher level competitions. And there's the blitz time control. It's just minutes thinking time with an increment of 2 seconds per move. The Swiss system format of 11 rounds being followed here due to a lot of participation. The Swiss system format is being followed. And of course, exclusive broadcasting partners of the first ISF World Schools Championship Online Chess 2020 is our One Play Sports. What an innovative platform or a format of ISF. This is with an aim of keeping the youth involved with school sports events despite the crisis. The world is shut outside, but chess is not shut. Soumya back again. So chess is still happening.
Sorry, I had to go for about 2 minutes.
Absolutely, no problem, no problem. You told us you like to have a stroll, you like to get your dry fruits during your contest as well. The same happens when you're broadcasting as well. So the chess has not stopped. The world has stopped outside, but chess is still in full form, isn't it, Soumya?
Yes, 100%. And I actually feel really grateful as a chess player for this online format, because otherwise I don't know what I would have done past 6 months. I really don't know. Like I have pondered on this question and I have received no answers. So yeah, I think we got really lucky. Chess players got really lucky that we have this option of playing online, practicing online, and it has kept us sane and it has kept the game alive and kept us motivated through the pandemic.
Yes, and also a message that we will have to give and we would like to give during the present condition to all our viewers. It's always important to stay safe, maintain social distance, stay at home, use your hand sanitizers. Whenever you step out, make sure that you use your masks, because we still are in the pandemic. So always make sure that you are safe, and better to be at home. So please stay safe, and hoping and wishing all our viewers on One Play Sports that stay home, and just hope that all of you are safe.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, in the meanwhile, waiting for round 9 to begin. Also, a quick reminder, tomorrow we'll be starting at, again, 1400 hours UTC, and we'll be witnessing the under-17 boys qualification rounds tomorrow. Again, 11 rounds or 9 rounds, depending on the number of participations that we have. But 8 rounds today, Soumya, and it has been wonderful to witness the chess level, the level of chess being played by the girls of the under-17 category.
Yeah, they're playing really well, fighting very hard in every game. We haven't seen a single game that has been drawn so far, correct? I don't remember seeing a single game
Very
that
rare,
ended.
very rare.
There was one
Yes.
game which was a draw with the bishops, same color bishop endgame. That was it. So they're playing very fighting chess and showing some really nice ideas, and I think they are also very motivated. Also, it's one thing to play online for fun and another to play in a tournament. You just have this different kind of motivation, and you even prepare for the tournament, right? Like, whereas when you're playing online, you're just playing, chilling, nothing's at stake, not much at least. But when you're playing for a tournament, you're going to prepare the previous night. You're going to probably, if you have more time, and if you're really keen, then you might even start your preparation 1 week earlier. And if you have a coach, you might discuss things with him. If you have some friends who play chess, you might discuss some strategies with them. So it's I think even for the kids, after the tournament, their approach to chess must have changed a bit while preparing for the tournament, and after the tournament also their approach is going to change because they would have learned a lot from this tournament and this. So yeah.
Also, Soumya,
It
what
would
would
be
you
nice to hear
prefer,
their
or
thoughts.
what would be your preference, sitting at home and playing, or being at a venue and facing your competitor and playing there? Right now, you don't have a chance. Nobody has a choice. But generally, what would be your mode of preference of playing a tournament or a competition?
No, my preferred mode is over the board, but that's also because I'm a professional chess player. I simply, that is what I do. I mean, but let's say someone who's not a professional chess player, for that person, online chess is such a blessing because you can't really travel so much and you can't really take off so much. Logically, practically, it's just difficult to do that. So yeah, but for me, for sure, like touching the pieces, even practicing at home, most of the practice is on our laptop. We are practicing online or with the chess software. We're using the laptop and this monitor and everything. But there are a few days when you practice on the board with the actual chessboard. I have a wooden chessboard, and it's such a nice feeling. Such a nice feeling. So the games have started.
Yes.
We have both the Iranian girls are paired against each other. It's a Qgd Defense, and this setup is actually really popular. The setup that White has taken, ED5, CD5, followed by C3, Bishop D3, Bishop F4. This setup is really popular currently. It's a very simple way to play and a good way to play as White. I think. Okay, Queen C2. I was thinking she will give Queen A4 check, but she goes for Queen C2. Okay. Knight H5. So the bishop on F4 is attacked. You need to move it. You can move it to. I think she will move it to E3. She will either move. She can move it to E5 as well. But okay. E3 is probably better. Now black needs to decide where she wants to develop the f8 bishop. She'll probably play g6 and bg7. That's my hunch, but now knight b4 does not work because of queen a4 check, and black needs to go back knight c6. So she played queen d6. Okay. I would be more keen to complete my development, to be very honest. I would be, if I were black, I would focus on completing my development. So basically, I would think about how I want to develop the bishop on f8 and then safeguard my king. She's surely going to play g6, bg7, but I don't know when. Now maybe knight a5 is a good move because you can play knight c4 even on the next move. She has gone for knight f4. Which is also a good idea. And now she has a pair of bishops. Black has gotten the advantage of a pair of bishops. Now she will, now again, knight c6, controlling the e5 square so that there are no knight jumps to e5 by white. Castle g6. Finally, she decides to develop the bishop to g7 and now b6 maybe, controlling c5 square. Very, very good play by black. She really knows her stuff. She's playing really well. Now bishop b5 is a cheeky idea, but doesn't work because black will simply play castle and bishop c6, rook c6, queen into e7, bishop into h3, and black is fine. So white went for a4 and a5 because black did not want to allow white to play a5. So she played a5 herself. To d1. To d1. Oh, white blunders the a4 pawn, bishop into a4. Yeah, bishop into a4 and the knight on b3 and rook on d1 are very unfortunately placed. So bishop c2 is sort of forced. Right, and now what if queen c4? Now what if queen c4, queen into e4, d into c4, knight d4? That was possible. But she played e6. And blundered her piece with rook d4. Right. Queen c4 would have been a much better move. She would have defended the pawn on d5 and also... right. So now white is simply a piece up. Actually, black played really well in the opening and middle game, and she just simply missed this trick. Otherwise, she would have been better. But now white is clearly better. Hello again, Chaitanya. So we were just discussing that this game, black handled the opening really well, but she missed this rook d4 trick and lost her piece. And now white is super comfortable. She's a complete piece up. She has black has only one pawn for the piece, which is not much. h4, good move. h4 with the idea of h5. In the recent chess Olympiad, Divya Deshmukh, who's a young talent from India, she's WIM and only 15 years old actually. She was playing h4, h5 in almost every game that she got from white. So we had this joke that if someone plays h4, h5, then Divya can make a copyright claim against her.
Oh, okay.
Because it is her idea. Oh, now rook c8. Black has managed to create something. Like now she managed to, you know, create a pass on the queen side while we were discussing some jokes. You know, she and now now white has to be a little careful. Probably it's not even possible to save it, because let's say I may move my queen to e1, because I also need to safeguard the f2 square. Oh, maybe rook c2. Maybe rook c2 here. That's the way, huh? Oh, she does not go for it. She plays queen e3, but then queen into e3. And now a3. Why not a3? She could have played a3. White would have played rook a8, then a2, and then king h2, perhaps. Perhaps that was the way. Okay. So black, but I don't like this, the way black has handled this position. I think she had a chance to actually save the game, to probably even win it, but she took some wrong decisions there. No, she couldn't have won it, I think. At least I did not see anything, but she probably had some chance to create problems for white. But now white will surely win this. Now black needs to play h6 to prevent knight g5. Otherwise, white would have played knight g5 and rook f7. Okay, h5, good move. Now if black plays g5, bishop g6, that was the idea, and she allows it. It's fine, it's fine. Maybe next move. The idea still exists. Okay, so she prevented it with king g8, and now rook c8, king g7 back. Knight d4. Knight d4 is a good move, with the idea to play rook c7 and knight e6, or yeah, that is the main idea actually. Is the main idea. So she prevents rook c7 by going rook b7. Now bishop a4, bishop e8 is possible. Yeah, she goes for that. Rook a7, bishop b5. Okay. Maybe she'll go bishop d3. Okay, she'll go bishop d3. Let's see. Rook a7. Knight c6, rook b7, bishop a4. Well, white needs to find, yeah, okay, fine. Finally, white has managed to get her rook to the 7th rank, and which is a great achievement, because the pawn on f7 is basically weak and basically the target. And if, okay, rook b7 is okay, it's all right. Basically, white needs to find some idea here, otherwise her time is lower than black. And if they just keep making moves, then not clear who will win. So yeah, she goes for it. She goes knight d8. White decides to play d4. Maybe knight f7, but she allows d3. And now d2 and bishop e2. For d2, white will play bishop e2, because the rook on b7 is protected. So rook e3, bishop d1, and now if rook e1, rook b1. Right, and now everything is protected. So yeah, so rook e5, rook b2, now rook d5, knight into e6, bishop d6. I see. Oh, white g4, king f7. Okay, fine. White bishop b3, d1, queen. Oh my god. Did you see how white blundered? Oh my god.
But a surprise. The result is a surprise here.
That was a complete surprise. And also, you know, when she gave the check on d6, white could have gone king g1. Even like, imagine the same position with the king on g1, it wouldn't have been checkmate. But because the king is on h1, And the bishop on d6 controls the only square it can go to h2. It's a checkmate. So it was just completely surprising. I didn't expect this at all. Bishop
Brilliant,
b3 was a huge
also,
blunder.
yes, also high on the ratings. And yes, that's the end of round number 9. We could not see any more matches because this one lasted for a long time and was really interesting as well. These are the standings after round 9.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. So Nia is still leading with 9 points. Maybe the next game we watch could be hers because she's on 9 points. I mean, she's on full score.
Yes.
Wow. Yes. Wow, that must feel special. Let's say she wins both the rounds and wins the tournament with 7 out of 11, the qualification tournament. She has already qualified, I think, by the way, because there are 2 rounds to go. And of course, 40 players qualify, but so she has already qualified, yeah?
Yes, with sevens, there are only 3. So yeah, it looks like she has put herself in a very comfortable position.
Yeah, with a big margin. Maybe even the players on 7 have already qualified that, I think so, because there are only 26 people. So basically only players at 5 points can reach 7. So there are only 26 people who can reach 7 points or more. And since 40 players qualify, players at 7 have already qualified. Players on 6.5 have also qualified, is it? Yes, they have also qualified. Players on 6.5 have also qualified.
Yeah, so then the first
6, it's not
12,
clear.
I think.
Huh?
I think the first 12. I think the first 12 are going ahead. It's saying the 6
no, the
have
first
also
6
qualified.
are going ahead for sure, because until 6.5 for sure you're in. On 6, it depends on your tie break, because technically the players on 4 points can actually the first 12, you're right, because not all the players will win their games, right? So they will be paired against each other, and half of them will win and half of them will lose. So yeah, probably the players on 6 have also qualified. Cool.
Yes, we have players from different countries. Remember the 35 countries, 5 continents, so different time zones, but still all in excitement, anticipation of this tournament. And irrespective of whatever the time is, they are here playing, participating, and the number of participations that have been received are massive. And thus, it's 11 rounds here for the under 17 girls category of the first ever online ISF World Schools Championship Chess in the year 2020. A lot of sports events being held this year. This one is definitely an exception, being held and nicely being conducted, brilliant broadcasting as well. And we are having a brilliant time in getting live broadcast over here. I have the best seat of the audience because I can see the match and I can see the predictions coming in from the women grandmaster. Good to have you here, Soumya. And we just might have.
Yeah, I think we both have the best
seat.
Yeah, we both have the best seat. Yeah, it's good fun.
Also for all our viewers on YouTube and on any questions that you have, any questions that you have that you want Soumya to answer them, feel free to post in your questions on our live video on Facebook, and we're also live on YouTube on the page of One Play Sports.
Right. So, I have a question. You've played a lot of different sports. Do you feel that playing another sport, let's say, helps you in your main sport, has helped you in your main sport? Something from that sport, you took something from that sport and applied it here.
Definitely does. I mean, each sport has its different challenges, has different strategies, and the one person that we mentioned again, going back to the same person, is Yuzvendra Chahal. He mentioned under 12 he was the champion, and his strategies and the moves that he must have learned in chess, the strategy looking at what the opponent is going to react at, is what must have helped him with his leg spinners. So similarly, every sport has its peculiar moves, strategies. Will always help in other sports as well. So definitely yes. And from my side, the answer is yes. Playing different sports helps you in mastering the more sports that you're playing, and definitely the sport that you like playing.
Right. Yeah. I also feel so. I also feel so. For example, when I was playing TT regularly, I felt that my reflexes at chess were much better, because TT is of course a lot about reflexes. The ball is moving so fast. It's a lot about concentration and reflexes. And I could see that my chess in that sense is improving. So, yeah.
Yes, if you talk of table tennis, the quick movements and the concentration definitely helps. So, yeah, any
Yeah.
specific drills that you ever did before a contest just for concentration? Maybe staying away from computers, maybe staying away from your mobile phone or your television, so that the concentration stays for a longer contest. Any tips that you'd like to give youngsters generally to stay away from television, or how to channelize your concentration when you have a big test coming up?
So first of all, I usually so my pre-tournament routine, like pre-game routine, it depends at what time the game is, of course. But let's say it's in the afternoon, then you take a nap so that you're well rested. And then you like a short nap, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, not more. And then then I also used to do some meditation so that I'm calm and I'm not too excited or something. And that I used to do. And I generally don't check much mobile phone or much of WhatsApp or social media when I'm in a tournament. I don't know if it will change now, because I was also like this at home earlier. But now during the pandemic, I have really changed as a person. So I have become very social media friendly now, because that's the only place you can interact with other people. Otherwise you're just living in your own world. So I don't know if that will change now, but at least so far I used to stay away from social media and mobile phones even during tournaments. I mean, I used to use them. ऐसा नहीं कि it's not like I would never use them, but just especially, let's say I have a game in the afternoon, then in the morning I won't check WhatsApp and all. I'll check it in the evening after the game is over. Something like this. That helps. I think so. But also, to be completely cut off from other people is not such a great thing. That also has some minuses, right? Because you also need to relax and take it easy. You can't be in this in your own world, basically. Also, so there needs to be some sort of a balance. Yeah. Even during tournaments, there needs to be some sort of balance. Like, let's say you're not using the social media and you're being very much by yourself. For example, Garry Kasparov, I heard that he would not speak to anyone before his game, because he didn't want his thoughts to be disturbed or influenced by anything else, any external. So let's say he has a game in the afternoon, he wouldn't speak to anyone the whole morning. So yeah, people have certain their own ways of approaching the tournament. But at least in the evening, let's say you're like this, then at least in the evening you need to relax a bit, go for a dinner with your friends, or at least interact a little with others. Otherwise, you'll just be in your own shell, and the pressure kind of gets to you, right? You also need to find a way to relax. So it's about keeping a balance, and it depends on you as a person as well. Like whatever generic advice is given out, I think you shouldn't just follow it blindly, because finally we are all different people and different things suit us. So I have seen a lot of players who are super chill. They are they are in world top 10, and they will be playing for the first place in the tournament, and in the evenings they're just poker or blitz games the whole night, sleeping at 2 a.m. So it just depends on how you are as a person as well, right? Whatever suits you. So usually refrain from giving very generic advice, and if I give it, I always put a disclaimer ki first know what suits you and then follow it, then apply it.
So wonderful. Whatever suits you, the kind of person that you are, so whatever suits you, whatever makes you comfortable and keeps you away from all the anxiety or tension before the game is a routine that you follow. Wonderful. So generally in sports, everyone has a superstition generally, of doing things the way on the day of the contest. So anything that is peculiar in the game of chess, or something which is peculiar to you that you always wanted this pawn over here, maybe your right hand or the left hand being used first, anything of that kind?
It's not even a superstition. I feel it's just about being comfortable, like being in a familiar, keep making things familiar to you. So most players have this. Okay, most players have this, that when they come on the board, generally you adjust your pieces, because the board is finally set by someone, right? Before the game starts, someone from the organizing committee has set it, and he has set it according to how he wants to set it. So you come and you adjust your pieces. And when you adjust your pieces, everyone has their own way. So my way is I make both the knights. Just a moment, I'll get my knight.
Yeah.
Let's say I have. Sorry.
Go ahead. I can hear you.
Yeah, but something happened. My screen went off. I don't know. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, go.
No, I think I switched. I pressed something and my screen went off. But now I can see you again. Yeah.
Yes,
so let's say this night, yeah, like I always, let's say this is the chessboard. So I always I place it like this so that it looks ahead. But then there are a lot of players who play like this always, so that both the knights, so there are two knights on the board, right? So that both the knights look at each other. Or there are some people who will place it diagonally so that, it looks towards the center, because the knight is on the edge of the board and the beginning of the game, so that it looks towards the center. And one of like my coach, he told me that he always places the knight so that it looks at the opponent's king, so that the king is always afraid of my knights.
Okay.
Everyone has their own way, and we all chess players have this. Like, you just want to make things familiar, Yeah.
Great. That was wonderful. That was wonderful, Soumya. Always different strategies, different ways of making yourself feel comfortable, and just giving a message to the king that my knight here is staring at you in the eye, and he's going to get you away in a few hours. Wonderful.
Right. I think the games are time to start. Perhaps there is a short break. Do you think there is a short break, or it's just that maybe there are some pairing, like they are making the pairing perhaps for the next round?
Yes, quite possible. It's now time for there's 2 more rounds remaining. I generally talk 5 minutes of the break that is given between rounds. Certain instructions also might be coming in from the TC.
Right.
Yes, there we go. Round number 10 coming in, and it's Nia again. So it's Mia taking on Dinah.
But why has the rating changed? Look at her rating, it's changed. I don't know why. Something happened. Okay. Let's have a look at the game. So she's leading the tournament. White, Nia, who's playing white here, is leading the tournament with full score 9 out of 9. And I think she must be feeling really confident. That's my assumption about her mindset. I don't really like the structure she has taken, but it's not bad either, because it's basically white is playing like black here. You know, she has allowed black to play d5 and e5 and e4. So now the pawn on d4 is hanging. Okay, now the pawn on d4 is hanging, and she has right. I don't know why both the girls are playing so fast. That is another question. Maybe they're just like tired. I don't know. It is possible because they already played so many games, and it's possible that they're tired.
It's the 10th game now. It's just been 2.5 hours, and it's the 10th game.
Yeah. She could have thought a bit.
They're just so used to it.
Yeah. So, okay, black is a pawn up, clear pawn up, and definitely has an advantage. Now she's threatening knight into b4 with the idea a to b4, queen into c3. So probably white will play bishop b2. She played knight e2 with the idea of knight d4 and blocking the d pawn. Again, white can play bishop b2 here. Again, white can play bishop b2 here. Let's see if she goes for it. Bishop b2 might not work because of d4, knight into d4, queen b6. This is the issue. Oh, but now she does go for bishop b2. So what if I play d4 here? What if I play? She did not play d4. Okay, fine. I think she could have played d4 there, but it's fine. Knight d7, queen b, rook c1. Now maybe queen b6. Hey, why not queen b6? Now, okay, now rook c6 is an option, but it doesn't work because of queen c6, queen d4 with the threat of mate on g7, but black simply plays f6 and blocks that diagonal. So knight into c6. Now, if queen into c6, again queen d4 will be replied with f6. Bishop d4, queen d7. Now king h2 makes sense. King h2 defending the pawn on h3. Will she go for it, or will she go for queen h5, which is also... Oh, she goes for g4. I thought queen h5 was stronger because it also threatens queen g5. Okay. She goes for g4. Played f6, making a square for her bishop on f7. Right. Now maybe what can white do? Now white... rook c3. Rook c3 is a good idea. Now she wants to transfer the rook to g3. So we already saw this idea in one of the games earlier, rook lift, where you transfer the rook to the other side. Let's say the rook is on the queen's side, you bring it to the king's side. So now she's going to go rook c3 and rook g3. She's definitely planning for that. She has prevented rook a3 with queen c1. She's playing really well actually now. Now what if she plays rook g3? She can go for rook g3 now and g5. She played queen f4, but that was not required. Now black can play queen d6, right? Black can play queen d6 and try to exchange the queens, after which she will be more comfortable since she's a pawn up. Yeah, she has gone for queen d6. Yeah, queen f4 was not required because she could have played for attack with g5 and with rook g3 and g5 instead. Right, now black is super solid. The knight on c4 blocks everything. It is a phenomenal piece. It just controls all, like contains all of white's threats, and it's really well placed there. Right, let's see what white does to pose. Oh, now she's threatening bishop e4, so black needs to be careful. White is threatening bishop into e4, d into e4, rook d8, bishop e8, rook into e8. Yeah, so she prevents that. That's good. h6. Oh, so now black would have played knight e5 instead of king h7, but okay. She plays king h7. Now, again, next move, black can play knight e5. Black can play knight e5. Let's see if she goes for it. Yeah, she did. So now the g4 pawn is hanging. And basically, the third rank is controlled by the rook. So white can't support the g4 pawn with his king. So she has to go bishop f3. But now knight f3 check. Now knight f3 check. Oh, she goes knight d3. Okay, that's also good. And now after knight d3, the bishop is free, but then where does it go? Because the bishop, black's only problem is the bishop on f7 is like super blocked by the d pawn. So she has to find a way to free it. Now rook a2 would be a very good move, no? Rook a2. I really like it. So white will support the pawn with king g1 maybe. King g3. King g3 is probably better than king g1. Rook c2. Now, of course, knight c5 is the threat and take the pawn. So, oh, she allows it because white wants to go into opposite color bishop's endgame and make a draw. Let's say rook into b5. Rook. Oh no, it's the same color bishop. It's the same color bishop. Then what? Why did white allow it? Okay, I don't know why white allowed that, but she did. This is tough to defend for white. I don't know how she's going to. Okay, now maybe bishop d5. Oh, bishop d5 is possible, or bishop e8 is possible with the idea to play bishop c6. Right.
Yeah, she's also running out of time there, is Nia. White, just 3 seconds quickly to need to make a move for those additional 2 seconds.
Now
just
d2.
Does that.
Oh, d2 bishop e2. That is the problem. Okay, it's still not easy actually to win it. She needs to bring her king perhaps. What if I bring my king? Like, let's say I play king g8 here. Okay, she played bishop a8. What is the idea? Rook c1 is the idea, is it? Rook c2. But now rook e2. Now rook e2 check. Oh no, she lost the f2 pawn as well. Right, now rook e2 back. Or rook into g2. No need of rook into g2. Even if it works, there is no need to go for it. It probably does work, but there is simply no need to go for it. Rook, yeah, but it was pretty. It was pretty for sure. Rook g2. Anyway, okay. What happened? D1 queen, and rook into g2, and black is a piece up. Even e3, yeah, even e3 is winning. Both the moves were winning. Yeah, great, awesome.
Game. So Nia has been.
So Nia lost her game. First game that she lost.
Nia lost. Yes, Diana has beaten Nia there. The 10th round, first game that Nia has to suffer a defeat in.
I was hoping she'll make 11 out of 11. You know. But it's fine. Anyway, she played a great tournament. I mean, and one more game is left. Yeah.
Absolutely, she did. She did. Took it to the last few seconds, and again here we're going to Parnian and Motare.
Oh my God, what is happening? Okay, white is completely winning. White is completely winning. And she won on time as well.
There she goes. There she goes. Yes, time expired. Anyways, number of pieces that she had, she never was in any kind of trouble. It was Parni and Gomi. Let's check if there are any games remaining in this round. Yes, I can maybe spot a couple of them. Again, going down to the wire, just a couple of seconds remaining.
Again,
Parva.
Okay. This will be interesting to follow, but white will win it because oh, it's not clear. It's not clear. Oh, is it a draw? Oh my God, it's a draw. There is no way for white to win it. Is it to draw? Let's say b6 we play here. A into b6, a6, king c6. Knight e3, b5. Wow, it's a draw. Amazing. Amazing.
Both of them just having a good time, isn't it? Just enjoying the remaining few seconds. They perhaps are enjoying the platform of the premium chess. Not ready to give up. None of them is ready to give up. And there we go. Insufficient material, says the software, and has asked both these girls to just stop having a good time. It was premium chess, the software contest there, but eventually, as just predicted, it's a game drawn. Yeah, so that's the end of round number 10, and that's the standings at the end of round 10.
Also, now there are 2 players on 8 points. So technically they also have a chance of winning the qualification tournament. But anyway, the main point of the qualification tournament is to qualify, right? I mean, that is the
yes
main prize that you win, and then go to the final.
So we can maybe have 3, right? Being tied on 9 score at the end of this round.
Yeah, it is possible. No, but will they have played against each other, so they will not play against each other either. Yeah.
Yes. The only way we will not have if only they play each other.
I think the girl who is on the second spot right now, who played against Nia in the last round, she hasn't played the girl on the third spot.
Okay.
At least we did not cover their game if they did. So they might play against each other.
Yeah, that could be interesting. That could be the decider there. But that is also if Nia is not able to win the next round. Otherwise, if she wins, then she's clearly on top of the qualification board.
Right. She must be under some pressure now because it's the first game she lost. So definitely feels bad, you know, when you're on this spree, on this winning spree, and then suddenly lose a game, and it does kind of shock you.
Can it also be a little comfortable position for her that she knows that she's qualified, so she can just maybe just be there? Can that also happen?
Yeah, it is possible, but I don't know. I mean, it again depends on the person, right? I mean, it is possible. I have seen some players who, let's say they won the tournament a round to spare and then they lost the last round. because they were too relaxed, like they didn't care. So that has happened.
Right. Looks like we have the last round of the under-17 girls category qualifications ready. Maybe just the last few minutes of organizing the matches online. Just a quick update to our viewers. We'll be back again tomorrow, Sunday, 1400 hours UTC, for the under-17 boys category. Soumya again will be joining us with her expert opinions and always amazing expressions when the players are maybe not performing as what they should be. Waiting for updates coming in. There we go. Yes. So round 11 about to start, and
Great.
we have
great.
Veronica and Anahita.
Oh, so they played a Benko Gambit. This is called a Benko Gambit, where, on the third move, black sacrifices a pawn with b5, and white chose not to take it because she, that's also possible. That's a completely fair decision. So she, this is just a normal position where black has Bianchotto bishop, and black's main asset is the b file, which is open, and through which black can bring his rook to b4 and create some pressure against black's b2 pawn and white's b2 pawn and white's e4 pawn. White, on the other hand, is pretty solid. It's not like he has a bad position or something. He has normal position. Just that the b2 pawn is a sort of handicap, because you can't develop the bishop on c1 without protecting the pawn on b2. So you have to take care of that. Knight g4. Yeah. I was also thinking of this move. Knight g4 and exchanging, opening up the bishop on g7 with the idea. Another idea is to play knight e5 and then knight c4. So yeah, good. And now knight c4, I think black can play, or play queen b8 as well. Queen b8 is a good move as well. Or queen c7 is a good move with the idea to play rook to b8, the other rook to b8. Oh, she played c4 because she wants to put the knight to d3. So knight d3, rook b1 is forced, otherwise you lose the b2 pawn. Wow, so I think black managed to create something. Now rook a2 is forced. No, she played knight a4, which is probably better. Knight a4 was a better move, but now black is completely in command. Like maybe queen b5. Yeah, queen b5. Can we play bishop a7? She plays rook c8. Rook c8 is also fine. Rook c8 is also fine. Rook a2. Oh, I don't like this move at all. Rook a2. But now the rook on b1 is not supported. I mean, you can get in some idea like c3 at some point, but right now it's not possible because the knight on d3 is hanging. She plays rook b5 with the idea to play knight b4. Maybe rook b3 would have been better, but okay, rook b5. Well, yeah, exactly. Now rook b3 maybe. Or we can play knight b4, right? We can play knight b4, and if the queen moves, bishop c3. Well, it was possible to play knight b4 there and win the exchange. Win the rook. No, win the exchange. Yeah, that is possible. Okay, but she found another way to do it. She won the whole rook. She won the whole rook. And with this, she will win the game as well. Okay, bishop into c3. Take everything, exchange all the pieces, and win the game. Because after all the pieces are exchanged, you will have an extra rook. on the board. Right. Now rook b2. Knight b3, win the other rook as well. Now black will be 2 rooks up. Right. Right.
That's it. So white has resigned, and it's a good victory for Veronica in the last round of the under-17 girls qualification. We still have many more contests remaining. So let's see the next one. The go-to
top
is
board game.
Nia. Yes.
Right. This is a normal position, right? Is there anything happening? Nothing special. It's a normal position. Bishop on g3 maybe can be exchanged with the bishop. Like at some point she can go bishop h4 and exchange that bishop. Yeah, because otherwise it's doing nothing on g3 basically. So better to exchange it with its counterpart. You can then go rook e3 and rook h3, which is not necessarily that it will create something, because black can simply play g6. But okay, you at least pretend to create an attack, and then I mean, it's a good way to scare your opponent. And then basically after g6, some squares around his king become weak, and you can exploit that. So yeah, I think rook e3 is a good idea. Yeah, she does go for it. Yeah, cool. She's playing well. Queen f8. She wants to play h6 and not g6. Right. She wants to play h6 and not g6 so that she doesn't weaken the dark squares. That makes sense. Now maybe she'll go king h7. She goes king h8. Okay, now what if rook g6? Then queen f7, is it? Possible. Yeah, this is... But queen h5, now she needs to protect the queen, otherwise rook h6 was threatened. And the queen on f7 was hanging. Oh my god, g4. Okay. Okay, then fg. Wow, g4 was a brave move. What if queen f5 here? She played rook e7, but now I can win the pawn, no? On e3, rook e1. What if I play rook e1? She plays queen g3, but queen g3, the rook on g6 is hanging, so you can't take the pawn on e3. So she'll probably play rook g4, right? She supported the pawn. Now queen f5, h3, maybe. She played rook e1. She played rook e1. Queen c2. Queen c2. Okay. Now again, white is better, but it's not clear how much better. Definitely better.
Top-notch competition. This game will tell us whether Nia ends on the top of the leaderboard in the qualification round.
Now rook g5, she's losing a piece now. No, not necessarily. Rook d5? Rook d5, losing a piece. Yeah. Yeah, rook g5, already she was losing a piece by force, that means, right? Now g6 with the idea rook e8 checkmate. Okay, she does not go for that because rook g3 check and rook into g6. That's why she does not go for that. And now there'll be checkmate. Yeah. Now rook e8 is forced checkmate. So white, white will win.
Yes, black resigns. So Nia can able to register a victory in the 11th round.
I'm sorry for her, but the good part is it doesn't affect her qualification. So Because to lose the last 2 games must be, it's an unpleasant feeling for sure.
Yes. So a little less confident when she enters the finals there, because it would have been good had she ended on a high, but not to happen. In the meanwhile, you go to Kiana and Shu with around 15 seconds remaining for black.
King G6 now. King G6 and Bishop G5. H6. Why H6? Okay, fine. She could have played King G6 and just queened the pawn instead after Bishop G5. Because not giving black this chance of sacrificing the bishop for the H pawn. Okay, what is this? It's a draw. A into B3, A into B3, King C3 and draw.
Taken the pawn.
Yeah, it's a draw. Yeah.
Still the bishop, yes, insufficient material, says Premium Chess, and that's a draw. Any more competitions? I think yes, they can spot one there. Ghazal and one with a minute to go there for Ghazal in black.
Yeah, black is completely winning because the pawns are cannot be stopped now. She'll play G2 and then F3 and then rook F1 and queen the pawn. Right, rook F1 now. Ghazal is a very nice name. Oh, okay. F2, and it's not a stalemate because King A3 and also C4. So, okay.
Oh, that's checkmate, and black Ghazal.
Ghazal won the game. Also, Ghazal is probably the only name which, not the only, but one of the few names which has a meaning in English as well as Hindi or Urdu, right? Because gazelle is it's an animal, right? Very pretty animal. Gazelle, and
that's right.
Yeah.
Right, then here we go at the end of the 11th round. That is at the end of the under 17 girls qualification category. Then we have the standings. So
oh, she won the tournament anyway because her tiebreak was better. Good for her. पहले का मेहनत काम में आया. शुरुआत में आप बहुत मेहनत करते हो तो बाद में फल देता है ना वो आपको, तो वैसे. And the girl who came second is also Georgian. There was 2 Georgian girls came at the top, and 4 Iranian girls came in the top 10. No, 5 Iranian girls came in the top 10. 1 Chinese girl, and I think Kachitran is Russian, yeah? I can't, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. 1 second, I'll just check.
Right, then interesting 11 rounds that we had. Time just flew by, it seemed like. Interesting matches, always brilliant opinions coming in from Soumya.
Yeah, it was a very well played tournament by all the girls. They played really well, and it was a lot of fun to follow their games, and there were a lot of ups and downs as well. So as a commentator, it was quite thrilling to watch. All of them played fighting chess, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow as well, because tomorrow we'll have the under 17 boys tournament, and already I've gotten an idea of how it's going to be like, and it looks good. So excited. And yes, we must congratulate the 40 players who qualified for the finals. So congratulations to all of the players who qualified, and in general, congrats to everyone who is participating in this tournament. I think it's a big deal to represent your school, your country at such a high level. So great. That's really amazing. That's really amazing.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure to have you here, Soumya. And we are also fortunate to have your presence tomorrow. We'll be starting at 1400 hours UTC, that is 7:30 p.m. IST for the under 17 boys qualification category. We'll be having Soumya to help me out in how do I beat my mobile phone a hard level game. And she'll also be giving her expert advice and comments to all the questions coming in. So be prepared with some tough questions, Soumya. It was a wonderful Saturday, and we are sure we are going to have an equally interesting Sunday coming up as well. Thank you so much, Soumya, for joining us. And from Soumya and myself, that's it for today. Saturday, we'll see you again tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. IST and 1400 hours UTC for the under 17 boys category. That's a goodbye, and thank you for joining us.
Good night, everyone.